Salutations! Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Travis Hunter, joined as always by my co-host, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
Hi, I'm Reneé Hunter Vasquez.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
This week, we're broadcasting live from the Sidebar discussing the 2005 supernatural horror film, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This film was directed by Scott Derrickson from a screenplay by Derrickson and Paul Harris Boardman. Drawing inspiration from the real-life story of Annalise Michel and incorporating elements of legal drama, The Exorcism of Emily Rose offers a refreshing twist on a familiar subgenre of horror. This film was recommended to us by friend of the show, Daniel Weemiz, who runs Gory Bits channel over on YouTube, which you should totally subscribe to. We want to thank Daniel for all his support and the suggestion. This film was also the winner of our September Patreon poll, so thank you to all of our patrons who participated and voted. If you'd like to help us decide an episode, join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/thepodmortem. So, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. What were your first impressions on the film?
I remember watching this and liking the exorcism part of it.
Uh-huh.
I think at the time the courtroom scene kind of bored me, but that was because I wasn't paying attention. Like I was, because most possession movies are pretty straightforward, you know what I mean? But this one, like you said, is a different take, and I did enjoy that. I know it's early to say this, but I won't spoil it. But, you know, it is a different look on it, and I enjoyed that. And watching it this time, I paid attention to everything like I was... or I should have been doing anyway. And you do see the differences, you know what I mean, in this movie. And if you're familiar with the actual event that happened from this or that inspired this, it is different.
Very much.
Yeah. But the movie did a good job of telling their version of the story. It's not what really happened, but I mean, it's a good movie.
I think the fodder was there to make a horror movie from that story.
Oh, yeah.
I was intrigued how much they changed and how much they kept, though.
Yeah.
I remember watching this when it was new and being like, I remember them saying like the gimmick was they didn't use any CGI. Do you remember that?
Well, that was a fucking lie.
Yeah, it was like we only used lighting. And so I watched it and I was like, oh, they can do that with fucking lighting, man? I was like blown away. But I'll also say, I think this, and I know nobody's lying to me when they say it came out in 2005.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel right. I feel like maybe like 2010 would be more appropriate. Not for the movie itself, but like for where I was mentally. I don't think...
We were very mature for our age.
I just feel like it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Right.
Like I don't feel like I was... 16, 15, whatever. Like, that doesn't sound right.
I was thinking about that as I was watching it. I was like, I don't remember 14-year-old me fucking sitting down and watching this. That does not feel right.
No, but I mean, I'm easy to please when it comes to legal shit. Like, throw me in a courtroom and I'm just like engrossed. So that coupled with some like spooky shit, I mean, I can't really ask for more. I will say, though, this is what I wanted from The Conjuring 3.
Okay.
That's literally my first note.
Okay.
Because that's kind of... I didn't watch the trailer, I will admit. But it's literally about a case that went to court where they tried to prove demonic possession as part of the defense.
Yeah.
But you get like
one court scene.
So... I mean, spoiler alert for when we cover The Conjuring 3, but I did not enjoy that movie because I think I was expecting this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's such an interesting aspect of it because I feel in horror films you get the exorcism and you're in the horror of the demonic possession and it ends up however it ends up and you don't think, oh wow, that priest was pretty rough, like I wonder if somebody's gonna say, like you don't get that far, and but that's like real shit, like that's real life. I always think that in horror films, what are y'all gonna tell the police? Like I always think that.
Yep.
And so to kind of be, and I know it's based on a true story, so it's not like, you know, they just came up with it, but to kind of address that here I thought was super interesting because, you know, demons is not really a defense.
Not really.
So, you know, I found that super interesting. I mean, the court scenes, there's some
there's some stuff that would not that would not fly.
Objection, Your Honor.
Like from
this
our home.
Yeah. That's funny. I was telling your sister, I still do, but I was watching these videos of lawyers reacting to film and TV, you know what I mean, courtroom scenes. And a lot of them were like, that's not.
It's not how that works.
They're like, the judge would have arrested both attorneys. I was like, oh, shit.
I had a lot of thoughts during those court scenes. And so I watched a video from the Legal Eagle.
Yeah.
And he
that guy.
Yeah,
he's great.
He did some of the sunny court scenes.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
But he confirmed a lot of my suspicions.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I was almost in the same boat as JP. At 14, like the court scenes, I didn't get them.
You're like, wake me up when someone's possessed.
Because I didn't really understand how courts operated specifically, especially in a case like this. But as an adult, I found the juxtaposition fascinating as hell.
Right.
Especially now, as much as we're into true crime.
Yeah.
Like seeing a court scene with a demonic fucking bent to it.
Yeah.
Like that's really
interesting. Can you imagine
interesting.
if that was like happening right now?
Oh my God.
Like that would be, I would be watching it every day.
Well, yeah.
Like I was with the Jodi Arias trial. Like I would be home from work, it's on the TV. But I will say now that I am older, I'm not saying I didn't appreciate it back then, but I was also like, you fools, clearly it's demons.
Yeah.
But
see,
like,
and that's
looking at it now, it's like, no, we need to, like, there's medical shit. Like we really need to dig in here because you can't just stand in front of the court and say, you fools, it's demons.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that argument has legs. Not to like out myself as the resident Shaniac here, but there's a lot of stuff that happens in this film that I'm like, dude.
Now hold on.
Now, before we cross-examine this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's count to 6. So the film opens with a tense, foreboding score as we see the opening credits appear. We then hear horrifying, disembodied screams of agony before we see a title card reading, "This film is based on a true story."
I'm instantly scared.
I'm the opposite. I think we talked about it when we covered The Conjuring.
Right.
Which is going back in time a little bit. But this normally means nothing to me.
Yeah, I feel like the problem with doing this is that a majority of the time they do it, it's full of shit.
It's a lie.
So for this actually having some kind of truth behind it, I enjoyed it.
This I will say is the only time that I was like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Because when you know the story of Annalise Michel,
it's scary on its own.
Yeah.
But I don't know, based on a true story always gives me the maybe he lives next door to you vibes. And I'm like, fuck, I live next door to a demon.
Does he pay mortgage and shit?
Yeah, I know. So you're fucking renting the loft upstairs.
Yeah. Holy shit. My thing about it is that typically speaking, in a lot of these based on a true story movies with demons and all that shit, I think what bothers me the most is that skepticism is not given any air to breathe.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the Conjuring films, I think they threw tomatoes at all the skeptics. Like, it's bad. Like, it's really bad.
The one skeptic was like, fuck you and your wife.
And it's like, the fuck did you say? And they're like about to fight on stage. But this one, I feel like there's at least an attempt at some kind of balance.
Right.
Even though sometimes it tips the other way.
Mostly.
But against a black screen, we hear someone cry out, "Emily!" followed by the sound of a shrieking growl. We then fade into white, revealing a fence post and barbed wire. Between the barbs, we get a little drip of blood and then the title, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. In the next shot, we see stalks of corn rustling in the breeze, followed by shots of a pumpkin patch and the exterior of a large farmhouse.
Just real quick, I enjoyed this short little opening. It's not too long to like make you like, all right, just start the movie. And it's not too short to like, what the fuck just happened? But it drew me in just enough to where I was like, okay, what's going on?
Well, it's the screaming.
I mean? Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
You know you're about to get into some shit.
Yes.
I do enjoy the establishing shots of the farm.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting they showed the pumpkins because we find out later that this is either Halloween or the day after.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So I was like, they're priming us. And they're winning me over because he showed me a pumpkin. I'm there. But we see medical examiner, played by Terrence Kelly, knock on the front door. Yes, that's his name.
I mean, at least they put thought into it.
I appreciate they workshopped it. It was a brainstorming session. But after nobody answers the door, he walks back down the steps, surveying the property. He notices a barn made exclusively of old metal siding, the weather vane overhead ominously shifting in the wind, and a couple of cats who have the good sense to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, even the cats are like, nope,
no.
Fuck this.
The animals always know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you should listen.
But the examiner heads back toward the house, but stops when he notices a hornet's nest buzzing with all kinds of activity. Even the bugs know.
Yeah.
They always do. Did y'all not see Prince of Darkness?
It always goes back to Prince of Darkness.
Those bugs looked like they were helping.
Yeah.
Those bugs were into it.
I think those ants like the devil, man.
You're red too?
Yeah, sweet. We got so much in common. But suddenly a man appears in the second floor window and looks down at him. The front door then opens, and Maria Rose, played by Marilyn Norrie, calls out to him, asking if he's the medical examiner. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's his
my
name. But he heads inside with her, and seated at a table, looking absolutely shaken, are Jason, played by Joshua Close, Alice, played by Katie Keating, and Emily's sister 2, played by Iris Graham.
God damn.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
And Emily's sister 3, played by Taylor Hill. So obviously they really went all out
I mean,
on
clearly.
these names.
When you walk in there, aren't you like, I'm only here to get directions on how to get away from here? Like,
dude, this is not my bag.
The vibes were off outside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they continue to be more off inside.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's clearly an evil farm starting off.
I'm saying my name is medical examiner, not fool. I'm not sticking around for this shit.
I did want to point out Joshua Close was on Fargo, the TV show.
Yes.
I was trying to place where it was.
He looks so familiar.
He was Lester's brother.
Dude, if y'all have not seen Fargo, that show is so fucking good.
It is great. But the examiner looks at them as the two sisters comfort a crying Alice. She's the only one that has a name.
Yeah.
But he heads upstairs with Maria, passing Nathaniel Rose, played by Andrew Wheeler, who just appears catatonic, holding what I can only assume is a haunted doll. That doll was fucking scary.
It's a safe assumption at this point.
But they reach a door down the hall, and out comes Father Richard Moore, played by Tom Wilkinson. The men look at each other and depart company without speaking a word. I heard on the commentary that there was a large debate between Scott Derrickson and Tom Wilkinson whether or not he should say anything here. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why would you?
Yeah.
Tom Wilkinson's like, I should tell him. Like, no.
Yeah. It's like, hey, man, what's up?
I think there's a girl in there, man.
I get all this is happening, but like, shouldn't the family be somewhere else? I mean, I know that's your house and these people, the cops and everybody's coming in and out, but I mean, some shit just happened. I mean, from what we can tell so far. Why you guys are just all hanging out in the living room? Shouldn't you be like at the police station?
I mean, they weren't like watching a movie or something.
No, I know.
Like they're
but
in the hallway with
something like
a bag of Lay's.
Yeah.
Just
well, something like just like you, like I said, from what we can tell, something bad has happened.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
Well, but you notice, like literally in every like exorcism film, the immediate family just chills out in the house.
Yeah.
It's a little odd. Because I don't know that you could, I mean, well, but with all the shit you've probably seen, maybe you also want to be there for this.
I was going to say, would you want to, I wouldn't want to leave.
If
we'll be at the La Quinta.
how
room service,
how
please.
safe would you want one of the kids to be here if the other one was possessed?
Well, I mean, the kid can leave.
That's a fair point.
But
I mean,
I don't think I would leave.
So sister 2 and 3
Yeah.
can...
Sister 2 and 3 should get the fuck out of here.
Especially sister 2.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah, fuck that girl. I really think they should have given them names. Like,
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
That's
I don't
messed
get
up.
that.
I don't even think they gave them lines.
Yeah.
Why are they here then?
Who knows? Well, yeah, no shit.
Like, it's just weird. But the examiner heads inside the room, and an actual police officer who apparently was already in the room closes the door behind him.
He's like, there's some fucked up shit in there.
He should have primed him. But downstairs, the Roses wait in the kitchen as the clock ticks impatiently. After a moment, the examiner walks in with the police officer. Regretfully, he informs Nathaniel that he can't conclusively rule his daughter's death natural. So at this point, it's like, wow, we're literally starting off the film with the death.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a super interesting angle. I mean, I know that the cat had to be let out of the bag sooner or later because, why are we in court if not?
True.
But it's like the first scene.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shit.
And it also tells you that if we're starting here, then this film's going to be flashback heavy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
No, not at all.
If done right.
Yes.
If done right, yeah.
I love jumping through a timeline like Saw.
Tarantino.
Yeah, Tarantino.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started. But I also hate jumping through a timeline like the later sequels of Saw. But Father Moore stares out the window at the weather vane as it creaks, and we hear the distant sounds of echoing screams, I guess in his memory. Father Moore is snapped out of this, though, by the police officer, who tells him he'll have to come with him. Father Moore continues staring out at the barn before joining the officer. In the next scene, Father Moore moves through a crowd of reporters screaming questions at him, asking if he'll plead guilty, and calling out for him to tell him about the exorcism. We then transition to the district attorney, played by Julian Christopher, watching the broadcast with 3 assistant DAs. None of these DAs are named, by the way.
Yeah.
Is it DA1,
Yeah.
DA2,
Yeah.
DA3?
Number 1, played by Aaron Douglas. Number 2 is played by Marsha Regis. And number 3 is played by Kayla Horsdall. They ask if at least they have lines.
Yeah.
Well,
Not like those poor sisters.
Then give them fucking names.
Yeah,
Right?
even if it's just like DA Smith.
Yeah.
But they ask if they should charge the parents as well, but the DA tells them that Father Moore claimed he was in full control of the operation.
The real case that this was based off of, I read that I don't want to say holy men again. I don't know. The priests?
Yes.
The priest? That was hard to find?
Or fathers. Or
There were 2 of them. I thought
Well-
they had another name.
Father?
Yeah.
Cut all that
All
out.
right, no, it's staying in.
The priests were charged. There were like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, it was 2 of them, I think.
They were charged, but the courts determined that the parents had, quote, suffered enough.
I don't know that legally there's an...
I mean, I don't know if that's how they roll in Germany, but...
They've been through enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the original story... That's one thing I did want to point out early. The original story takes place in the 70s in Germany.
Yeah.
This takes place, I don't know when,
Yeah.
and I don't know where.
Yeah, our clothing is quite ambiguous.
I think I think it's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they don't say, well, here in the great state of, Massachusetts, I don't know, they never say where they are. I guess, again, it could live next door to you.
Yeah.
They did that for me.
Yeah.
So they're just wanting to charge the priest here.
Yes.
Well, the priest took responsibility.
I know, but he's a fucking priest.
But we're talking negligent homicide here
Yes.
and your
Yeah.
parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It comes back to the parents.
It starts there.
It starts
Yeah.
it always starts there.
Birds and the bees. But the DA then says that they need to get a Catholic on board who knows their shit, but will be seen as unbiased to the public. Number 3 suggests a guy called Ethan Thomas. She says that he's not Catholic, but he's about as churchy as Ned Flanders. She didn't say that. That was more me and my script.
My question is, do you think that having a religious prosecutor would be beneficial or would it not be beneficial?
I think it would absolutely be beneficial. Because if you have some guy that's like, and this fucking bullshit that they believe, and then the jury's like, this guy's an asshole.
I also believe that bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not that much, but god damn.
Well, and you are like going hard against a priest too, and that's never a good look.
No.
I mean, some of them have it coming, but
Yeah.
that's never a good look.
A lot of them have it coming. But number 3 says, despite his churchiness, once he gets people on cross-examination, he tears them the fuck up.
Get him on the court and he's trouble.
Last
Get him in the
week.
court and he's
Yeah.
trouble.
But the DA is down for it and says that they should make Ethan lead prosecutor. Later at the sidebar, fantastic name for a lawyer bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what movie the bar was called. The Alibi.
That's great.
Yeah.
On Gone Girl, the bar was called The Bar. I love it.
Which is also good.
Very meta. But we dip down from a martini glass to see Erin Bruner, played by the always fantastic Laura Linney. She's going over some paperwork. And there's a very nice like cityscape outside the window. That's all CG.
Yeah, I was going to say at one point, I was like,
I think you're incorrect because there is no CG in this movie. That was done with lighting.
So that was a fucking lie.
I love Laura Linney so much, dude. But I got to say, watching her, like, from the first scene that we meet her, I'm like, can I pause this and watch Primal Fear real quick?
It could almost be a continuation. It feels like, I mean, I don't know why, but she's just such a great actress, and she brings with her just an authority.
I just love her. I love her in everything I've ever seen her in.
Ozark?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, she's just fantastic.
That's right.
I know this is polarizing, but do y'all remember the Mothman prophecies?
Of course I do. One of two movies she did with Richard Gere.
Yeah.
I think that she is underrated, and I also think that we should cover the Mothman prophecies.
Dude, hard agree.
Chapstick. But Carl Gunderson, played by Com Fior, flanked on either side by a couple of unnamed cronies, motions Aaron over. They love not naming people in this movie.
I was going to say, are they crony 1 and crony 2?
Hey, they're literally Gunderson's crony number 1.
Oh, wow.
And Gunderson's crony number 2. It's just, they were just busy, I guess.
Is it extra to give them names?
I don't
do you
think
have
so.
to pay them more?
And I feel bad for their poor resumes.
Yeah.
Oh, I was crony number 2.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
you weren't crony number 1?
Yeah.
Your character doesn't even have a name. No paycheck for you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
But Gunderson introduces Aaron to the men, saying what we just saw, which is not great screenwriting. They're like, she even works while she drinks. It's like, yeah, we saw. They're just trying to sell how devoted she is.
Yeah.
But they did that already by showing us that. But one of the men tells her that he was sure her previous client, James Van Hopper, would get the death penalty, but he admits that she proved him wrong. She simply says that the system works. It doesn't, but it's sweet of her to think that.
No, it doesn't. And my first thing is like, is this a Jose Baez situation?
I guess so.
Because everybody's like, man, you got fucking Van Hopper off? Like OJ or Casey Anthony? Like, you got them off?
Yeah.
He did also get...
I mean, he got her off.
Yeah.
Or she got him off. But
Either way.
Allegedly.
I don't... Well, I was going to say I like my life right now, but I don't. But,
but it could get worse.
But it could get worse. I like the level of awful that I'm at currently. Thank you. But Gunderson pulls Aaron away, asking if she's heard about Father Moore. She tells him that she knows the rough details of it, an exorcism gone wrong, but not much outside of that. She finds out that Father Moore has been charged with negligent homicide, as we discussed, and that he also turned down a generous plea bargain. Aaron reluctantly allows him to continue, and he tells her that the Archdiocese, after seeing her work during the Van Hopper trial, has specifically requested her to ask Father Moore to reconsider this plea. Aaron sees this as a clusterfuck of a case just waiting to happen, but Gunderson tells her that her star is currently rising, and if she wants that to continue, she'll take the case. She's like, how high are we talking? Hinting at being made partner, even dropping hints that other firms are interested in her. She says that she wants her name on the door next to his fucking McNamara Troy status.
I was thinking Sterling Cooper, Draper, Bruner.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Is that what you were thinking? Because I was just thinking of HHM.
Hey, there's a lot of partnerships in the shows we love. But Gunderson's like, look, get him to agree to the plea first. But if he still refuses, any kind of personal testimony will be damning for the Archdiocese, so keep Father Moore's ass off the stand. I put in here as a joke, I said, less is indeed more. And I spelled more.
Less is indeed Father Moore.
There you go. But Aaron's like, of course not. She makes a crack saying that Van Hopper would have signed his own death warrant if she let him testify before putting all her drinks on Gunderson's tab and bailing out.
Yeah, he probably would have gotten up there and lied about abuse from his dad and like a bunch of crazy shit, right?
Nay, she's not Jose Baez.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
This just kind of bothered me because it's the whole scratch my back and I'll scratch yours thing.
It is.
Oh, it is.
And I'm like, I don't even like you.
No.
No, he's trash.
Yeah.
But I feel like we needed motivation for her to take this
I know.
because who the fuck would want
I
this?
know, but still, that's shitty.
Very similar to the predicament that her character was in Primal Fear, where she was, the Archdiocese was also involved.
I will say, Scott Derrickson said he watched a lot of court movies preparing for this.
I think he just watched Primal Fear. He's like, I know
over and over.
Linney.
Yeah. Can Edward Norton play the demon? See if he's free. But in the next scene, we see Aaron walking past several cells before arriving at Father Moore's. The jailer lets her inside, and she introduces herself to him, and he's just lying on his bed. I mean, I guess what else can he do?
What's he supposed to be doing?
Like, why isn't he brushing his teeth? I don't know.
He's doing pull-ups.
Yeah. He's got the fucking Cape Fear tattoos.
Yeah. Oh, no.
What do you want from him?
I always thought this was weird because in my experience, I was always taken to a different room to speak to a lawyer.
Not just in your cell?
Yeah, no.
That's interesting because in movies, it's always in their cell.
Yeah.
So I guess everybody can hear what's going on.
Is this like a weird like holding cell? Like a pre-trial situation?
I mean, they do have those, but they're
I don't think
not
he'd be in
for
his
one
orange.
person. No, yeah, but you wouldn't be. It would be a lot of you in one room waiting your turn to go talk to the judge.
So this is our first
mistake.
Well,
first of many inaccuracies.
But in my defense too, if this is a state prison, I've never been to state prison.
Mm-hmm.
I was in federal prison.
Right.
So I don't know if it's the difference, but I mean, it's prison. I would figure they would, if you're in your cell, yeah, I get it's confidential, you're talking to your attorney, but what if you attack your attorney or something? There's no cameras to stop you.
Oh, nobody was even standing there.
Yeah, there's nobody there.
No, okay,
and
first
she's
of all,
a woman.
Nobody's standing there, and they shut her in with him.
Yeah, so
it's fucking Rorschach now.
They're like, he's
you're
a
locked
priest.
in here with me.
So I understand why we're taken to a different room to see our attorney or talk to her. What? But this is just like, nah, get in there, girl. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I know it's negligent homicide, but he's still charged with homicide.
With murder,
yes. All great points. But after sitting down on a chair that was left in the cell, she tells him that her firm is representing the archdiocese. This gets his attention. He sits up, and even though he says he was expecting to see someone, he asks why they sent her.
So they're representing the archdiocese, or they're representing him?
I think the firm is representing the archdiocese.
Yes.
She is representing him.
Okay, so he's being charged, not the archdiocese.
Right.
The archdiocese is just like, keep it clean. We don't want this to look crazy.
Because he's part of the church, they can't make
he's
the church
a representative.
look bad.
Right. Okay. I'm caught up.
Okay.
No further questions.
But she says simply that she wanted the case. He thinks that it's all about her wanting the spotlight, but she doesn't give a fuck about that. She's like, I want my name on the door. Have you ever watched Nip Tuck? Or Better Call Saul? Or,
I want that.
Or Mad Men. But she admits that she's agnostic when it comes to the subject of religion, and he says that he'll just stick with his own public defender that he had originally. He then outright refuses the plea, and she tells him that with the sentence and the prosecutor he's facing, he's going to need her in his corner. He asks her defense strategy, and she says that that's up to him, whatever he's most concerned with. He says he doesn't care about jail or his reputation. All he wants is for people to hear Emily Rose's story and to be able to hear it directly from him. So they make an agreement. She'll allow him to testify if he'll allow her to do whatever it takes to win. She has now failed at both jobs.
Yeah. So as soon as she said that, I'm like,
Yeah.
So you're lying to him because you're not going to jeopardize your
ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I was like, so do I like her? Do I don't? Because you don't seem very genuine to me right now.
But I feel like this is the setup for her moral dilemma of the film.
Right.
Like, what's more important, my career or, telling this possessed girl's story, basically.
I think that's fair. It just made me laugh that he's like, okay, go in there, get him to accept the plea, and keep him off the stand. She's like, I'll make a deal with you.
I'll do the opposite of everything I was told.
But in the next scene, we're greeted by a hissing cat before we see Aaron sat on a couch at the Rose house. She surveys the religious iconography in the living room as the cats meow in the background. Maria comes in with tea, and after a few pleasantries about the house, Aaron shares that she actually grew up in a small town and her mother was a school teacher. Maria says that was actually Emily's dream as well, which is why she went to the university. As the cats continue their adorable chatter, we learn that there are 11 cats in the house, which Emily apparently would just bring home because she, quote, couldn't leave a stray abandoned.
I'm living for it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll take a house with 11 cats in it.
I'll take a fucking demon if it means 11 cats.
A barn with 11 or a farm.
Yeah.
Not a
Okay.
house.
Yeah. You're right.
Like, these cats are getting out of hand. On the commentary, I did hear that Laura Linney is incredibly allergic to cats.
Oh, shit.
So they somehow did
The
not.
cats are CGI.
No. They lied to
They
you,
did
Nick.
the cats with lighting.
No, the cats are just lighting. They're fucking holograms of
Yeah.
cats. No. I don't know how, but the info about her being allergic did not get to Scott Derrickson. And
No.
Wow.
they shot this scene and she had a horrible reaction to it. And so they're like, okay, we'll just abort the entire scene.
Yeah.
So then this version of the scene that we see is actually the last scene shot in the entire film.
She's like, because I'm going to be fucked up.
Forever. I think they said they did all the close-ups and then they very quickly did all the wides with the cats. And then she started having a reaction. They're like, okay, cut, we're done.
She retired after that scene.
She never acted again. But Aaron asks if before all the troubles, if Emily was happy. Maria says she was. Then, in a flashback, we see Maria busting into a bedroom where we find Emily Rose, played by Jennifer Carpenter, and Alice jumping excitedly on her bed.
I laughed at this part because they're jumping and they're laughing, and the mom comes in like, "What the fuck is going on in here?"
Yeah, they're not fighting.
I don't know. She came
does.
in like super aggressively.
Oh, she's pissed. She's like, I'm downstairs trying to feed your fucking cats, and then I gotta come here.
You're up here jumping on the goddamn bed.
But when Maria asks what's going on, very angrily,
She did.
Emily shares a letter notifying her that she's receiving a scholarship to go to school. Maria realizes that this means Emily will be leaving the family, but Emily promises that she'll be okay. Maria goes to show the letter to Nathaniel, and Emily just smiles. So, off the bat, Jennifer Carpenter is one of the most underrated actresses.
Dude, yes.
Like, she is brilliant in this film. We know we love her in Dexter.
I love her on screen in Dexter. I'm still upset about some of the
Some
stuff.
behind the scenes things. Those are rumors, all alleged, allegedly.
Yeah, she...
Julia Stiles.
She was in Quarantine.
Yes.
Yeah, she was.
She was in White Chicks.
I was waiting
Love
on
White
that.
Chicks.
I knew that was coming.
No, but in this, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
The performance she gives is almost otherworldly.
I mean, it's like,
I think she might have.
she's a method actress.
Yeah. She's like, I went and found a demon. I went to the Goat Man's Bridge.
I mean, I read that she was in a play with Laura Linney, and
Yes.
that Laura Linney was like, you have to get her.
Yeah.
I think she said she was the most talented young actress she had ever seen.
I mean, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, and when you're getting that compliment from Laura Linney?
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
But in the next scene, we're back at the sidebar where we see Aaron reading a newspaper article about the upcoming trial. She's then approached by Ethan Thomas, played by Campbell Scott. He thanks her for meeting him and sits down after refusing her offer to buy him a drink. He orders water. People don't drink, it happens, but the way he orders the water was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
I can't place
disrespectful.
it. It was. But Ethan tells her the judge wants them to offer another plea deal, and when asked how he feels about it, he says it's his job to remain objective. She asks again, considering his church background, and he admits that if it were up to him, Father Moore wouldn't get a deal at all. She's like, what about compassion and forgiveness, or does that just get in the way of your work?
He's like, what's that?
It's like, I'm sorry, compassion? First of all, sick burn.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think it's very interesting. They point this out on commentary. We're setting up this interesting dynamic where an agnostic is defending a priest and the belief of demonic possession, and a Christian is on the other side of it.
No, he's using the priest as a fucking pinata. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's happening.
That was the kind of the problem with me with that guy. I was like, you can't say that you're a Christian, but you're fixing to try to hang this priest. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean,
Not necessarily that. My thing is, he's like, no, God, love. Oh no, fuck him. He shouldn't even get a trial.
That's what I'm saying. You can't sit there and be like, oh no, I love everything and I go to church and this and that. But that guy, no.
It's like, at least let him have a trial.
Yeah.
Like,
a trial is fun.
Yeah.
that's crazy. And you're like a shitty lawyer too, because aren't y'all supposed to uphold justice?
Yeah.
And everybody gets their
And
day
that
in
doesn't
court.
sound like it.
Yeah, unless you're a priest.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're this priest.
Right. Yeah.
But Ethan breaks the deal down. Charges reduced to reckless endangerment, a sentence of 1 year in jail, reduced to 6 months and probation if, I guess, the priest doesn't murk anyone on the inside or whatever.
I mean, if somebody gets possessed, it's all bets off.
And he's already got those tattoos and shit. Right? 1 tear for every kill.
He's got the Hawaiian shirt.
It's fucked.
Yeah, that was a Nip Tuck reference.
Yes.
But he says agree to it or he'll seek the maximum sentence. Aaron lets him know that that's a no-go and that Father Moore wants to tell Emily's story and that he wasn't neglectful at all or responsible for her death. A very incredulous Ethan asks if she's seen the post-mortem photos, and the look on her face is a massive hell no. Mm-hmm. Which I think is very...
That's probably... For as hardworking as she is, like, when you've gone through the case file...
One would think.
Yeah, right.
Before you call a meeting with the prosecutor...
Before you go visit him in the cell?
Yeah.
Right?
Have you been here drinking the whole time?
That's all you've been doing.
She's like, look, Emily Flowers was a saint.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You get the name right.
Before you lock me in a cell with this dude, I need to at least see
what he did to her.
What he did.
But she says that they'll go to trial, and Ethan's like, fine by me, and leaves. But later, Erin sits in her apartment going over notes, including a section about someone called Dr. Vogel and possible side effects for the drug Gambutrol. After an exhausting evening, she sits down with a glass of red wine and switches on the TV. We then see her sleeping in bed that night, the camera slanting and sweeping into a watch on her nightstand as the hands click over to 3 a.m. Once they do, the hands stop. Now, I do want to say very quickly, on the commentary, they said that at one point, the shot of the watch turns into CGI. So, Derrickson...
It was lighting. What part are you not understanding?
The director is telling me. I want to know where you heard this because
I don't know.
That's such a lie.
I don't know. Listen.
Okay.
I got nothing.
You seem so damn sure.
Oh, now I remember.
Okay.
I was going to say, what is she, Vincent Bugliosi? Because you always got mad.
Dude, we talked about in his book Helter Skelter, where he says that in court, Charles Manson looked at him.
The baby looked at you?
The baby looked at you, and its watch stopped. Bullshit.
He gets so mad.
I hope you're listening, Vincent. I think he passed away.
Shit.
Well, speak ill of the dead.
That's my job.
That's bullshit. But the 3 a.m. thing becomes a massive deal in this film.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that part as a kid and being very frightened to be awake at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The funny thing to me is that I was working on this script very late into the evening. And
at 3 a.m.
Once we got to the possession situation that we'll get to in a bit, it was 3 a.m. And I don't believe in any of this shit, but I was
You're
shook.
Like, I'm fucked.
I was a little afraid.
Not a lot, but usually when I play late on my days off, if it gets too late and I'm like, oh, it's almost 3, it's like, I need to wrap this up. Like,
party's over.
That's the cutoff time.
Yeah, that's their time to fly. To shine.
Right, I'll leave the controller right here.
Yeah, you can play as long as you want.
Right, please plug it in before you get out.
But the next morning at the Crescent County Courthouse, Judge Brewster, played by Mary Beth Hurt, basically takes attendance of the counselors and the jury, then allows Ethan to begin his opening arguments. I do want to point out, Mary Beth Hurt's husband is Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver, Raging Bull.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
And Hurt, her last name, I believe she was married to William Hurt.
What?
Before this.
Did they write the Hurt Locker about her?
Yes. And she's a good actress in her own right, so I don't want to make it like just about her husband.
John Paul looked so disappointed in me.
Well, I mean, he should be. But as Ethan introduces himself to the jury, Erin notices that her watch is stuck at 3 a.m. Ethan explains that the evidence of this case will show Emily suffered a medical condition that left her unable to care for herself, and that after her care was entrusted with Father Moore, he convinced her to forego medical treatment in favor of religious treatment. He says, an exorcism performed by Father Moore led directly to the death of Emily Rose. He then goes for the emotional plea, saying that he represents someone who is not here to represent themselves. A young girl that could have been their daughter or his. I was like, come on, man. That's some cheap bullshit.
You got to get them where they live. It's cheap, but it works.
They use it all the time.
It works.
Yeah, I was going to say he's good, but he's a dick.
Yeah, no, it works.
Because it does.
And the jury's like, my daughter?
Yeah.
I have kids. Fuck.
Yeah, very easy to be relatable.
Burn the priest.
Dude, she hasn't even made her opening argument yet.
He made them think of their kids.
Done. But he says a girl who trusted Father Moore with her life died because of it. He then shows a smiling picture of Emily before the exorcism, then shows a post-mortem photograph of her, complete with all kinds of bruises, and allowing their minds to fill in the blanks of what happened. Aaron knows this looks bad.
Well, when we're looking at the picture, her face looks like, what the fuck am I doing here?
She's like, we should have taken the plea.
This is a huge mistake.
I shouldn't have drank all night.
I should have learned her name and shit. But Ethan says that he stands here for Emily Rose, who died horribly at the age of 19. And he says he hopes the jury remembers her as she was when she was alive and as when Father Moore left her to die.
So I've been in trouble a lot, but I've never been like there just to kind of like, oh, what's happening? But so he's trying to fight against the priest and say he did all, you know what I mean? All this.
Yeah.
But the family is behind the priest. They're not with the state. Nobody asked you to come and do this. I don't understand. The family is all there like, look, he did exactly what you know what I mean? We were trying to help her. They're sitting there making it seem like he's a monster.
I think the thing is that it comes to a point where it's not a matter of would you like to press charges? It becomes a matter of the state bringing charges because a death.
Of the death.
I get that, but I guess more what I'm trying to say is like, how do you want me to believe the state when the family is behind the priest?
Well, but it depends on how you look at it. If you think they're all hyper religious, nut jobs, for lack of a better term. Wow. And then her parents even let her die. Wow. We really need to get this guy.
Yeah. And then the jury might be like, we should charge them too.
Yeah. Well, the parents are just like, it be like that sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not freaking out. Nobody's acting strange.
No, that's
they're
another thing that I found a little strange with this movie is I know we get some emotion, like, in a few key moments, but we really don't care about the parents at all in this movie.
Yeah,
we don't care about the family. The sisters don't even have names.
Nope.
Like, it's like there's I feel like we could have gotten a little more of that because it's almost like as the movie goes on, like the priest is her dad. Like everything we know about Emily.
Well, they call him father.
The priest is everyone's dad.
Yeah.
Everything we know about her, we really get from him.
There are a couple of moments that we get later on, but I definitely agree that the parents are even on the cast list, they're at the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's if I made this movie, they would probably just to elicit more emotion from us, I'd probably, get him off the bench a little bit.
Right.
But the judge asks if Aaron wants to make the opening statement for the defense, and she says that she's going to reserve that for when they present their case. She calmly tells Father Moore that was always her plan, but Ethan looks at DA number 1 like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't understand why he's so mad about it. He got to make his argument.
He's mad about everything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
This is a very angry man.
I mean, if you're thinking strategically, it's like, well,
oh, that's
what
true.
the fuck? Why?
He might be a little concerned.
Yeah, it's like, maybe there's something I don't know why she's waiting.
What if, like, my opening statement, come out, Emily.
Yeah, right.
She just, like, fucking...
Come out, God.
Yeah. It's just a light... what was it? There was like a wrestling thing where Vince McMahon wrestled God.
Oh.
Stop it.
I'm not even fucking around. And literally his entrance was just a light coming into Dude, the WWE got so fucking stupid at some points. I'm not even going to lie to you.
I don't know.
Funniest thing I've ever done.
But, I mean, in all fairness, he's Vince McMahon.
I guess. He thought he had a chance.
Yeah.
God had no chance in hell.
Yeah, right. It's a cage match.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
But Ethan calls Dr. Vogel, played by Mary Black, to the stand. Vogel explains that she knew Emily her entire life, as well as the other Rose children. She says Emily was excited to go to school, but a little nervous about the big change. After leaving for college, Emily sent her a letter saying that she met a boy called Jason at a dance, but to not tell her mother because her mother apparently warned her both about dances and boys. And I'm like, is this the town from Footloose?
That's exactly what I was going to say. What is this, the tiny town from Footloose? What?
See, and again, this is, to me, for the jury, painting the parents in a very bad light.
You got, like... you don't approve of dancing.
And music is out too.
Maybe that's why she busted in the room all pissed off.
Yes.
Y'all better not be fucking
I swear to
dancing on
God.
that bed.
Is there a boy under that bed?
Oh my God.
But why is he called Jason? Why is he not named Jason?
Oh, that's just how I say it.
Oh, I thought, like they were.
No.
I was like, damn.
He's allegedly named Jason. No, I just
It's
say
an alias.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he's called Jason.
You're like, no, that was me.
Yeah. But Vogel says that she didn't hear from Emily again after that, and instead would later get a call from Maria at 4 a.m. She made a point to say that it woke her up. I was like, this isn't about you.
Yeah.
I had a real hard day.
And then they fucking
That's
called
me.
me.
That's me on the stand. Let
Yeah.
me take it back to the beginning. I've never been a great sleeper. It's like
My whole
man.
life. But we then get a flashback to Emily at the university. She stands distraught as the wind whips around her. Vogel says Maria asked her to call Emily on campus at a payphone, and we see Emily rush toward the phone as it begins to ring and answers it. Vogel says Emily answered hysterically, and we watch as Emily sobs and groans with the camera rising above the scene. We're then taken to Emily's bedroom that night in the dorms as Vogel explains what Emily told her, and we watch as it plays out. Emily's roommate had apparently gone home, which left Emily alone in their dorm. We hear thunder outside, and Emily wakes up to see that it's 3 a.m. She apparently thought that she smelled something burning, but when she doesn't hear the alarm going off, she gets up to investigate. She goes out into the hallway, bathed in orange and blue light.
Your shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I do want to point out. There's a lot of terrific lighting in this film.
I told your sister that when we finished the movie, I said, there's a lot of weird lighting choices at times.
I've noticed that when some spooky shit is
Yeah.
going down, there's like a purple
Yes.
Yeah.
situation. And
Anytime-
I'm here for it.
No,
Anytime
yeah.
you see purple, like shit's about to happen.
Yeah, hold on to your tits.
And then Prince starts to sing. No. I did hear in the commentary that he talked to his cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
The only film that he made him watch.
Primal Fear.
No. No. It was Dario Argento's Suspiria.
Of course.
And so that scored some points with me.
Well, then I feel like they really held back on the color.
I know. In all fairness, it was just all.
Did he even watch it?
I don't know. I think he fucking skimmed it. But I did want to point out, because they talked about it on the commentary, and it kind of changes the way that you watch the film. He said that orange represents terror, maroon represents curiosity, white represents hope, and as you said, purple represents the supernatural. So anytime you're watching this film and you see these colors pop up, you can kind of get the feel of what they were going for.
Now I want to rewatch it.
Is this going to be on the test later? 'Cause-
This is the
This is the test.
no shit. I just thought it was crazy colors all the time.
Right.
I didn't. It wasn't that it was bad, because I did enjoy it and I did notice it, but I didn't like the color scheme. I didn't pay attention to. I was just like, oh shit, there's something
There's
going
one
on.
scene I'm thinking of besides the obvious one later that is very white,
Yes.
and I'll point it out.
Okay.
But when you said that, I was like, oh, okay.
And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And the thing is that as I watch it, I look at the color. There's something about you can win me over with an interesting color palette. I'm very, very easy to
Yeah.
please. And so when I saw this and I kind of paid attention to it, I was like, wow, they really did that shit.
Yeah.
Because it fits every single time. But I digress. Emily walks towards one of the doors at the end of the hall, but she hears a loud crash. But then the door at the end of the hall suddenly swings open on its own.
Those doors are heavy looking too.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the wind.
No.
Yeah, that was that. I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking scary. It's like there's nobody there.
No.
And the doors are just, it's like, I'm not closing that one. I'll close this one. But
It's kind of funny because it's like demons in this film obey, like they have to open doors like
Yeah.
us and stuff. It's like funny to me.
well,
Like us.
Like us. They're just demons.
just like us,
They're
guys.
just like us.
So relatable.
you got to invite them
Demons
in.
are Jennifer Lawrence. But as it opens and shuts, she bravely rushes toward it, pulling it shut herself. Again, could not be me.
Absolutely. Like I cannot stress enough.
No, I have a belief in some of the supernatural stuff. I think demons are bullshit. So movies like this, I don't understand why they scare me so much, because I don't believe that they can happen. But supernatural demonic possession movies honestly scare me more than, like, The Exorcist is like one of the scariest films I've ever seen.
Yeah. I believe in everything.
Oh, fair enough.
So I'm constantly terrified. I'm serious. Like the wind can blow and I'm like, that was a fucking ghost, man.
So your quality of life isn't great either.
No. But it could always be worse.
There we go. I did want to point out that there's a shot of her walking where we get like a shot of her feet coming down the hall. They had a camera on a string and a dolly, and they just pulled the string.
Hey.
All right.
He had said that he wanted some kind of like handheld situation, but with the cameras they used, they couldn't really accomplish that. So they had to improvise. And I think there's a lot of frantic shots at some points in this movie.
Yeah, there is.
And it almost feels handheld, but it works really well, unless they lied to me like with the CGI now.
There is no CGI.
This whole movie was handheld. But Emily heads back inside her dorm room, but as soon as she gets in, the door slams behind her. She slinks back into bed and closes her eyes as the camera presses in. It gets deathly silent, but then we hear something rattling. A cup of pins on her nightstand just inches its way off the edge, tumbling to the ground. Emily sits up as her blanket is pulled off of her legs, which is kind of standard demonic fare, but still scary.
Yeah, this is when I got upset because when she's fucking around in the hallways and playing with doors and shit, my note was, go back to your room and get under your blankets.
Why?
Because the blankets are force field.
The blankets are safe. That's what Stephen King said. And then so now the demon is breaking that rule set by Stephen King.
I'm sorry.
And first of all, how dare you?
Party foul, fucking demon. Yeah.
This possession doesn't count because you broke the law to get it. It's like when you search someone without a warrant.
You sign the warrant in the wrong place.
Out. Yeah.
I saw a movie where they said that someone signed a warrant. It was Nightmare on Elm Street. Someone signed a warrant in the wrong place, so Freddy Krueger went free. I think the judge would have some leniency there.
Oh, yeah. She was like, you got off on a technicality.
Yeah, he fucking initialed on the wrong line. And now a child murderer is just out on the streets. I don't believe that for a second. But Emily then begins to sink into her bed, the wood creaking as she does. She attempts to struggle, but then grabs at her throat when she can't breathe. She fights off her invisible tormentor as she continues to sink, her arms being thrown against her pillow. Then, as quickly as it began, she's released, falling to the floor, screaming. She runs outside her room, which we, I guess, can assume is where the phone call takes place.
Jennifer Carpenter was really doing that shit.
Oh, yeah.
She gives every ounce of herself to this film. Like, it's insane.
They said that they did so many takes of a lot of these scenes, and she never lost intensity.
I cannot imagine.
Damn.
She's on like a 15 constantly.
She must have been exhausted. I think a day at work is bad. She's fucking flopping and screaming.
It's a lot.
They said that, I guess, they wrote a lot of special effects shots into the script for the possessed girl. And after Jennifer Carpenter's audition, they realized her performance was more frightening than what they had planned. They said it's scarier than anything we could create.
Wow.
And so they dialed it back and took a lot of that out of the film.
So that's when they decided to take the CGI out.
Of course. Maybe that's what...
I got it.
It got Purple Monkey dishwashered on its way to you.
There is no CGI.
See, I know you said that you don't like the whatever because she's under the covers and the demon. I enjoyed this.
No, I'm offended by it, is what I said.
Well,
The demon knows the rules.
You know the rules. If I'm under the blankets, there's nothing peeking out. You can't get me.
That's why you don't dangle your foot off the edge.
You don't dangle your foot off the edge.
Because demons have a foot fetish.
Well, you wait for them to put their hand up, and then you hold their hand and ask them, what are we now?
and then
they're
we
like,
cuddle,
wait a minute,
it's like, oh,
and we go to sleep.
Then they get scared and run away.
Wait, so this is a love story?
Yeah.
Demons are afraid of commitment.
Yes. See,
That's how you get them.
See, I like this better because usually if it was a ghost or something, you would have just seen the imprints of them on the bed or something.
Yeah.
This was heavy.
Yes.
This was a mass.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a, hey, I'm a ghost. No, this was a, I'm fixing to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And that whole bed sinking in, I was like, oh, fuck, that's got to be one heavy ass fucking spirit or whatever.
I was like, either that or she's getting hypnotized by Rose Armitage.
Now sink.
But no, I think that this scene is very effective. Very scary to start with this first scene.
Yeah.
Dude, the demon is choking her.
Yeah.
To begin.
No, yeah, he starts pretty
aggressive.
aggressively.
I thought it was just literally going to end with the pins,
Right.
the door, and then that was her first experience.
That's usually what we get.
Yeah.
You know, like a door moving or I thought I closed this window, but no, he's like full. Yeah. He has no time to waste.
Nope.
But back in the courtroom, we're introduced to Dr. Mueller, the chairman of the Department of Neurology, played by Kenneth Welsh, and he answers questions from Ethan. Mueller says that he assumed Emily was probably just on drugs, but her test came back negative, and the more she explained what happened, the more he thought it could just be epilepsy.
First of all, great scientific approach to be like, oh, she's just on drugs. That's fine.
He's using all of his training.
Secondly, if I had that experience and I went to a doctor and they told me I was epileptic, I would burn his practice down.
So you would commit arson?
Yes. I would be on trial.
Wow. Well, I think that that's kind of ridiculous because for her, it felt so real. Wouldn't you go the neurological route before you go the drug route?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially with her background. Don't they know that she's not on that fucking V?
Yeah.
Like,
she's afraid to dance, dude. Like
she's not meeting someone in a back alley.
She's not on Molly.
But Mueller explains how seizures can cause loss of bodily control and involuntary contractions and even have hallucinations. We watch Emily suffer a seizure in her bed, falling to the floor with her eyes rolled back white, twisting in an unnatural fashion. This stuff I love.
Me too, because it gives you that, okay, wait, what's really going on?
Right.
I think this film is pretty heavy-handed what they want you to walk away with. But some kind of ambiguity as to, like, at the end of the day, was she just sick? And I feel like that's what we get with the real case.
Yes.
Right.
I live for that shit. I love it.
And the matter of actually showing these flashbacks.
Yeah, like literally, it's like Clue. Or was it like this?
Yeah. And if they don't show them, then Ethan and Mueller just look like assholes.
Yeah.
Right.
It was probably just a seizure.
Honestly, they look like assholes anyway.
Well, don't.
Like, that's what but I'm saying that that's one thing that I don't know kind of dings this is it is very heavy-handed. And so anyone who introduces that it could be not a demon, it's like, wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like they all suck.
It's funny to me because Derrickson said that he is a believer.
Yeah.
And Boardman, his co-writer, is a skeptic. And so they said that they tried to balance the two, but I will say that this was directed by Derrickson. So
by balance the two, do they mean lock Boardman in a closet and not let him
out of the room?
He's like, I didn't say believer. I said believer. Like, I love Justin Bieber.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know how that applies here.
I thought we were making a documentary.
He's like, I got the shirt, the hair, what the fuck?
He wore it while he directed. But following his assumptions, Mueller ordered an EEG which showed possible epileptic focus in her left frontal lobe, so he prescribed Gambutrol and advised further tests and appointments, which Emily apparently failed to follow through with. The reason is that she believed Father Moore that the cause of her ailments were spiritual, and that after October when he spoke to her, she said Father Moore also told her to stop taking Gambutrol. He says he firmly believes Father Moore's suggestion killed Emily, and Aaron pops up with an obvious objection to this.
I was going to say, in the words of the great Phoenix Wright, objection. Are you fucking dude?
He's like, I think he killed her.
You're poisoning the well.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it.
Oddly, the judge says that she'll allow it. She's like the judge from Futurama. I'm going to allow this. But this is when Aaron's cross-examination begins. She's like, possible epileptic focus, huh? So it could have also meant nothing. So Mueller admits that that's also possible, which would mean that Father Moore's suggestion to stop taking Gambutrol would actually have been good advice. She also gets him to admit that Emily's symptoms were atypical of epilepsy and more indicative of psychosis.
That's also great science, is taking the results and making them fit
Whatever
your
you want.
diagnosis. Yeah.
She does lay into him for that.
Yeah.
That's bullshit,
Well, I mean,
dude.
she's right, though.
Oh,
she is, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this doctor really could have been a very interesting, incredible character to add doubt, but instead it's just like, no, I wanted her to be epileptic, so I made the result say she was epileptic.
I just think it's so funny that he said that to Ethan, but the second she asked, he's like, well, it might not have been. I don't know.
Well,
I am not a doctor.
I'm sure the state got him to come in and was like, look, this is what you need to say.
Yes.
And he can't lie on the stand.
No.
So, I mean, when it was her turn to say something, he's just got to be like, ugh.
You got a boss.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I bought this coat at Spirit Halloween.
Right. I bought this when I got paid.
By the prosecution?
This coat came with fishnets. It's a sexy doctor costume.
But she lays into him for picking and choosing shit, like we said, that just basically fit his argument rather than presenting the facts as they are. But she has to withdraw this after Ethan objects to it being argumentative, which it absolutely was.
Yeah.
I always thought that objections were kind of funny in the court of law because if they're stricken from the record, the jury doesn't forget about them.
That's what kills me, because it's like, if you're willing to like risk it for the biscuit,
Oh, yeah.
you can just be like, oh, he murdered and I saw everything, and they still heard you.
Yeah.
Like, you can be held in contempt or whatever, but if you really want to get it out there, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, but doesn't the judge have final say?
The judge has final say, and it can be stricken from the record. But the jury who's deciding the fate, you're not scrubbing their brain. They still heard everything.
But I'm saying, doesn't the judge, like, at the end, even when the jury says whatever, the judge decides what happened?
Yeah, but in some trials, I mean, that's why I'm a true crime show that we get. But in some trials, yes, and not all of them. So it's like, you can strike it from the record, but I still heard that shit.
Right.
You can't be like, jurors, don't think about that.
Well, I know,
part.
but the reason I'm asking is because even if they strike it from the records and the jury heard it, I'm the judge. I don't give a fuck what you think he's guilty or not. What I say goes.
But I don't think that if the jury finds him guilty, the judge can say, I disagree.
Yeah,
Well, no, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
Yeah.
So, but
but she can just be like, all right, you find him guilty, but I'm going to let him go.
Oh, no.
There has to be a lawyer listening right now that is just screaming at us.
Right. Phoenix Wright, help us.
Phoenix Wright.
I don't think a judge has that power, because otherwise the jury is useless.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know, but I mean, everybody, when they see a judge, is like, yes, sir,
well,
yes,
ma'am.
Because if you're not, they can charge you with contempt.
If you're rude.
I get that, but again, if you're treating them this highly, then obviously they have some kind of power they can flex no matter what they want.
They're in control of the whole operation, and I believe that they have a say in sentencing. Sometimes the judge decides the sentence.
Well, that's why I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Okay. So not all of them.
Right.
Okay.
No pun intended. It's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
Right.
I've always just been found guilty. There's no.
Well, just make it easier.
I don't know how it works.
No jury. No. But later, Erin visits Father Moore in his cell again. She eyes an empty cell next to his, and for some reason finds it peculiar. She has a look on her face. Do you notice that?
Was there a demon over there?
I don't know. He's like, "Hi, Erin." Like, I don't know.
Oh shit! Put him on the stand.
Yeah, he was there.
We got a surprise witness,
and it's just the light, but from below.
It's just a shadow.
Didn't Vince McMahon wrestle that guy?
Right, he's headlining WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, this is a celebrity witness. But Erin sits down with Father Moore, and he tells her that he has to tell her something very important. He says there are dark, powerful forces surrounding this trial, and he tells her to be careful. She kindly reminds him that she's agnostic, and he says demons exist whether you believe in them or not, and her taking on this case could actually open up the door to demonic attacks.
I wrote in my notes, you hear that, D?
I knew you would. Look, I'm just happy that someone believes in me. Demon, whatever.
I just hope the demons are proud.
Yeah. As long as they're supportive, it means a lot. Rate the show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts,
right.
Demon. Put your money where your mouth is.
You really believe in me or not?
Yeah, shit. But Erin's like, Ethan's attacks are more important to focus on, so you can can this demonic discussion. She asks what happened to Emily after the dorm room incident, and Father Moore says that she went to the university hospital for testing and observation. In a flashback, we see Emily standing at the hospital window as a storm rages outside. In flashes of lightning, Emily notices a demonic face moving through the clouds. She falls to the floor, knocking over a cart, writhing in agony and screaming. I saw in commentary that Jennifer Carpenter actually cut her ankle on that cart.
Oh man.
And she was oddly very proud of it because she worked through the scene.
They're like, use it.
Yeah.
The demon came and was like, I said. Like, he was not done.
He showed his face.
Yeah.
Is nobody going to help her? What kind of hospital is this?
Where is everyone?
Aren't you supposed to be
It's the hospital from
her?
Halloween 2.
Yeah.
They're off showing each other the flesh
Exactly.
in the fucking...
Hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's watching the babies? I'm still mad about it.
You had one good nurse in that whole fucking hospital, and she was treated like the villain.
Yes.
Michael Myers was the villain.
Yeah,
yes.
well, they're saying they're monitoring her and they're giving her medication for this and that. Where are you?
Monitoring where?
Yeah, where?
They literally called it observation.
Yeah, where?
They're observing their fucking lunch in the break room.
Observation for the demon.
So, yeah, so you are just watching this happen and like,
He's watching.
Yeah.
But in present day, Jason tells Aaron that Emily was able to resist the demons in her dorm room, but in the hospital room, they overcame her. Emily believed that that was the night that she actually became possessed, and things only got worse from there. In the past, we see Emily walking hurriedly on the campus through the rain and into a classroom. Once there, she sits distracted among her classmates, staring out the window into the rain.
I just have to commend her commitment because I got a demon in me. I'm not fucking going to class.
No.
Yeah.
We'll email our professors and I'm going to miss tomorrow.
At least.
But Emily cries and clasps her hands in prayer, but stops when the dude next to her just stares at her. She tries to collect herself, but when she turns back to him, he opens his mouth in a snarl and his eyes bleed black out of his sockets and down his face. That's CG, Nay.
It was lighting. Yeah. The dude's like, so you got a demon too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to see a doctor for that.
Yeah.
First time, huh?
We've got a club for that if you want to join. But Emily jumps from her seat, screaming as everyone just stares at her. She snags her things and runs outside into the rain. Cars pass her by, the occupants of which take on distorted faces. As she continues her walk, she passes a couple sharing an umbrella, but as they get closer, their faces grow demonic and they hiss at her.
Nobody asks if she's okay.
Nope.
Yeah. And that's what I was like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Nobody is saying anything to her. Everybody's just snarling at her and looking crazy. And it's like, why?
Well, that's what I said, so it's a good word.
Her.
Yeah,
no, I
could.
wrote it down too. I was like, why are they snarling?
It's just so odd because I know that presumably there was one demon dude in her classroom, but the teacher didn't try to help.
Nope.
None of the other students tried to help. She's like in a dress in the pouring rain, visibly fucking freaking out. And everybody's just like, meh.
And if she's on the college campus, somebody has
That's what I'm
somebody
saying.
to be like,
You would hope.
Yeah.
Well, I do also want to point out that in 2005, bullying was still cool.
Okay.
So they were probably
that's
like,
why they're snarling.
This fucking weirdo. Yeah. They probably actually were snarling at her, dude.
Fuck off, Ned Flanders.
Yeah. I do also want to point out that there is a bright array of orange lights against the building as she's running and being snarled at.
Right.
So what was that again? Terror? It fits.
There you go. But she rushes off to the university chapel where Jason notices her and calls out to her. There are tons of purple lights in the chapel.
Yeah,
Demons.
I noticed that too. I was like, what the fuck?
As you're watching it, you're like, all right, you're starting to get all these meanings.
Yeah.
But once Emily makes it inside, she approaches two elderly women sat in a pew. They turn to look at her, and their faces also take on a demonic distortion, so Emily just screams in fear at them. Outside, Jason heads to the door, but those women bust the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk shit about them for not trying to help her, but I would have fucking ran out of there too.
Yeah, probably. I did find it odd. Why aren't they at a regular chapel?
Wow.
Why did they go to the university to worship or whatever?
Well, maybe it's
They're
just
older
like the
students,
community
man.
thing there.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes
Maybe.
we go back late. That's how I feel walking around campus sometimes.
Like those elderly
old
women?
ladies.
I mentioned,
Hey there, fellow kids.
I mentioned on Prince of Darkness I got my bachelor's at 28. Being on campus, and 28's not old, but you feel like the grandfather
You're
of
like,
everyone.
get off the lawn.
Giving everyone
oh, wait, I'm also on the
wise
lawn.
advice. Why am I standing on the lawn? Then an older student's like, hey, get off the lawn. But we get a shot of Emily's eyes, her brown irises imbued with blackness. Facing the altar, Jason approaches her slowly from behind. He watches as she reaches her arm out, arching her back, cracking and bending into a 90-degree angle.
I think we should see other people.
How long have we been dating, though?
We just
really?
met at a dance, dude.
Yeah.
We just met. I'm not signing up for all this.
Not to bring up Prince of Darkness again, but it's been a week, I think.
We're not touching mirrors. We're not none of it.
No flesh has been shown.
No flesh. No, I can't.
I don't know. Part of me wants to agree with you, but the other part is like, you can't leave this poor girl like that.
Well, no, but we don't.
I'll drive her to the
we don't
hospital.
have to be dating anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just sounds really shitty to be.
Well,
I get it, but
see, I just want to point out very quickly. I'm obviously joking, but then
I know,
JP made us look like assholes. So now we have to point out that was a joke. We would help this girl. We would take her to the hospital. We wouldn't be like, fuck you.
Pew.
Right, I'll hold your hair while you throw up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do want to point out that the bending is a visual effect. They have like a little harness underneath her.
Okay.
They had her bend a little more each time. They cut the shots together. And then
cool.
I think they helped her bend that complete horizontal.
Yeah.
Because you can't just do that.
No.
She did a lot of contortions on her own, though.
Damn.
There's like a lot of stuff that ends up in the film that is just straight Jennifer Carpenter.
Well, this looks fucking creepy as
Yeah,
shit.
it does.
And it looks
does.
real.
Yeah.
But Jason reaches out to her and she just whips her head in his direction, the whites of her eyes now red, screaming for him not to touch her. He stumbles back and Emily collapses to the floor. She sobs, begging Jason for help and for him not to leave her. So mixed messages, but you know.
What do you want from me?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on inside of her, so I understand. But we see him get closer to her as she reaches out to him, like almost holding her. So he's not an asshole like me and Nick. Back in the present day, Jason says that he stayed with her until the end. He says it all turned into a nightmare, but he wouldn't give up one moment that he spent with her. I was like, even the demon bits toward the end?
Yeah, I'd probably give that part up.
You don't need to keep those. Those were decidedly not pizza.
Not even a little bit.
But he says that she opened him up to things that he didn't know he could feel. Mostly unparalleled fear, I would imagine.
Yes.
But he says he didn't realize how dead he was inside until he met her. So he was in love.
Until I met someone who was actually dead inside.
And then by comparison, I was like, God damn.
I'm fine.
Not doing too bad.
Well, wait, though. Didn't she write the letter saying that she had met him before? So they've been talking for a little while at least, right?
Well, I would imagine not very long because she's barely been at the university.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
But, I mean, long enough to where he's basically in love.
Yeah.
It's the Prince of Darkness treatment.
I
man.
guess so.
So when you know, you know.
Right,
You bring
you
the
gotta go
devil into
fast.
some
Yeah.
shit, you fall in love in 5 minutes.
It really heightens the emotions.
I guess so. Satan is the best
He's really bringing people together.
wingman.
Like he gets a really bad rap.
Yeah. He's like, you know how many couples I've started? But it's all possession this. Fucking
You only see what you want to see.
fucking hell and torture that.
What is this, an interview with the devil?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just
He's
his
just sitting there
eyes
with
are
a
blocked
coffee.
out.
Yeah. God. But later at the sidebar, Erin enjoys a martini as news about her previous client, James Van Hopper, comes on the television. As the bartender turns it up, we hear that Van Hopper has struck again, murdering a young couple this afternoon.
Bitch, I'll never forgive you for this.
No.
Good luck.
No, that's got to be, and I'm sure this is a whole separate conversation, but defense attorneys, like that's got to be something that they have to deal with.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to be when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
You
Yeah.
just wanted to get in good with the bad guys,
Whoa.
like Richard Gere in the
Wow.
fantastic film Primal Fear.
See? Fantastic movie.
It really was.
But basing our lives off of that. I will say it sucks. I feel bad for defense attorneys because they're literally just doing their job.
Yeah.
Except for Jose Baez. I do not feel bad for him.
He was doing more than his job. Casey Anthony. Now,
Allegedly.
Please don't sue. Please don't sue. My life's okay. But the camera presses in on Erin's face as tears begin to fill her eyes, very clearly uneasy at the role that she played in his acquittal. We see her rush to the bathroom, loitering around for a moment before turning on the faucet. A woman busts out of one of the stalls and washes her hands, and then Erin just leaves the restroom shortly after.
It was weird.
I don't know how necessary that was, or if we were supposed to expect a fucking actual demon to walk out of the stall.
Oh,
Probably.
because, I mean, they have to use doors. Maybe they have to poop as well.
I'm going to be honest. I think a demon taking a shit doesn't wash their hands. That's just my personal idea. But at her apartment that night, Erin sleeps, turning her head toward her alarm clock as we see the time, of course, reach 3 a.m. Erin immediately wakes up, stepping out of bed and creeping down the long hallway into the dark. When she reaches her kitchen, she turns on the light, looking around, and then looking at the smoke detector. So she clearly smells like Emily did. She then checks her stove as well, but nothing is amiss. We hear the sound of a clock ticking in the room, and she looks around confused. Suddenly, the ticking stops and the kitchen light goes out on its own. rather than run the fuck out of there, which is what I think we all would do.
Yes.
Erin pours herself a glass of water because I guess all of this weirdness has been caused by dehydration.
Well,
stay hydrated.
She's probably going to throw it in her face.
Yeah. That's how you power
That's
up.
the fastest way to hydrate. We learned that.
Thank you, Mrs.
Olsen.
Thank you. Yeah. But as she takes a sip, she hears a door behind her slowly creak open. She sets the glass on the sink crooked and it falls off, shattering to the floor.
Now, he did warn her. He did it late.
He did.
He warned her.
He's like, now, by the way, demons are going to want that ass.
Really a conversation he should have had with her on their first meeting.
Probably.
I didn't even think about that. Now, you need to know what you're getting yourself into.
If you're certain.
Yeah.
But she sees that her front door is not only unlocked, but it's wide open. She rushes to close and lock it, peering out the peephole, but sees nothing. She then retreats back to her bed and tries to fall asleep.
See, I'm telling you, letting themselves in through a door. They're respecting our laws, and one of our laws is we gotta poop.
Or property. We gotta poop.
That one was a demon in the bathroom.
Oh, you really think so? It's like, man, this shit's crazy.
Right, shit's getting nuts around here, huh? Those tentacles on your face?
See you later.
Why are you covered in beetles?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, you're not going to like it. But I just want to say this is extremely effective for me. I do see there is kind of in the hallway whenever she's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If you follow the rule of thirds, right where your eye is drawn almost looks like a hooded figure.
Huh.
But I can't tell if it was intentional.
Right.
Or if it was just something that's supposed to catch your eye and you're supposed to wonder what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you guys notice it?
I didn't.
I didn't.
We'll watch it on break.
All right.
And we'll kind of see, because it kind of, I just couldn't tell. But at the jail, we glide over to Father Moore's cell, who is sleeping on his back. After hearing some noises and whispering, he gets up and approaches the bars to look out. A robed figure slowly creeps by, and Father Moore immediately bows his head in prayer, clinching the bars. When he completes his prayer, the figure is gone. We also hear whispers of someone counting to 6, which comes up a lot.
The demon was like, all right, all right.
I'll chill. I see you're armed and dangerous. I do want to point out that the editor of this film is the same person that edited The Grudge.
Oh.
Huh.
And the composer of this film is the same composer of The Grudge. Also composed Hellraiser and would go on to compose Sinister.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
If you remember Christopher Young.
Yeah.
But Derrickson got both of them from their work from The Grudge because he considered the scares to be very effective.
Nice.
He said he didn't like the plot of the movie. I'm like, why are you talking shit?
Right.
But the next day in court, Erin arrives 17 minutes late and gets scolded by the judge.
Is the insinuation here that she was up all night, so she's late?
Well, what she says later to Father Moore is that her power went out and her alarm didn't work.
Oh, okay, that's right.
But, I mean, I understand punctuality, and this is just a random aside. I don't know if you've ever watched court shows or coverage, but the egos on some judges is fucking unbelievable.
But that's another reason why I brought that up, because like I said, judges, like I get it, you put in your time, you whatever, but it's like they're like, I'm supreme being, and it's like, are you? It's like,
I'm the supreme.
I think it's fucking AHS. But I mean, I think that they demand respect because they're in charge of the proceedings, but also some judges, you fucking sneeze, they're like 30 days contempt.
Yeah, I don't.
You're like, I don't know that you can do that.
I have allergies.
Yeah, but there's also a governing body above them that can discipline them.
Right.
So they're not all powerful.
Yeah.
It's an odd system. An odd, broken system.
Yeah, it is.
But the trial continues with Dr. Briggs, played by Henry Czerny, recounting his entire CV full of medical degrees and publications in neurology and psychiatry. I saw in the Legal Eagle that this is what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you recount all of your experience, it only endears you to the jury to prove that you're not talking out of your ass.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But Ethan asks him about Emily's cause of death, which Briggs says was a result of gradual shutdown of her bodily functions, which was caused by numerous physical traumas exacerbated by malnutrition. So this is also in line with Annalise Michel,
Right.
her cause of death.
Yeah.
But when asked how Emily got these injuries, Briggs explains that some of them were caused by violent seizures, while others were self-inflicted, which he concludes happened because her epilepsy evolved into a condition that he calls psychotic epileptic disorder.
That you call.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ethan's like, holy dog, because this fits.
This is
fits
perfect.
his shit. Perfect. But he asks what symptoms this disorder would take on. I do want to point out that in this scene, there is a large photo of Emily's dead body.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard that they had to change the colors on it to appease the MPAA.
Whatever.
They were like, this movie is too scary, Carl.
What?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
You go to a scary movie to get scared.
But this movie is PG-13.
Why?
I don't know. But, I mean, and honestly, it's scary on its own. Like,
Yeah.
It is, but that's something that's so like nitpicky. Like that's
It is.
annoying.
yeah, they were going to give it an R rating.
For that.
That's it?
For partly because of that, and partly because of some faces and movements that Jennifer Carpenter
God.
makes. They said that's an R rating movement.
Really? Yeah.
She's scary
You
as
see,
fuck.
you see the way she screams? I piss my shit. They use the bathroom so hard on themselves.
If you're going to make it R, fuck it. Might as well throw some extra shit in there.
Yeah, they didn't know what was going on.
I pissed my shit.
It's going to be a new thing.
That's it.
But
Everybody
as-
else go home. That's it.
But as we see Emily's horrific Night of the Demons from earlier, this time, though, without the demons, Briggs explains that the condition would have symptomatic similarities with schizophrenia, including auditory and visual hallucinations, and then adding in the seizures, that would cause the locking of the joints and the body contortions that we saw and that Emily experienced. Now, with these flashbacks, we don't see these demonic faces. Mm-hmm. We just see her staring at the window,
Right.
all normal. But also the lights, remember the orange lights I said?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're gone.
Well, of course.
So it's very interesting to see these scenes again through a different lens.
Right.
I appreciate that aspect of it so
Oh,
much
yeah.
that I wish we would have gotten more.
I agree. But Briggs also says that her pupils would have dilated, making her eyes appear black. Briggs says that all of this could have been controlled by Gambutrol if she continued her treatment, and if she took it, she would still be alive today.
In the real case of Annalise Michel, wasn't she still on her medication up until her death?
I believe so. It was a different medication.
Well, it's not Gambutrol.
I feel like that's made up.
I don't know.
I probably should have looked that up.
Yeah. But I feel like them saying that she stopped taking it does give a little more credibility to that it could be a medical situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just wanted to point out that in real life, she was still taking her shit,
Right.
which
Now,
is interesting.
I do want to say that there is a point in the film where she stops taking the medication, but at this point in the film, it's a little ambiguous because they just say she stopped taking it.
Yeah.
And we do see her taking the medication while she's still on campus later.
Yeah, later on we do. You're right.
So I think that they should have been a little more clear when she stopped taking it now.
Yeah.
Right.
Because later on, when something does happen, they say that she was still on her medication when this happened.
Yeah.
So it is in line with the case, the
Yeah.
real case. But the film is like, when did she stop taking it? Oh.
Yeah, but we're doubling down that the priest told her to stop
Yes,
taking
I
it.
guess that's what the
Yeah,
We don't know when.
no,
Yeah.
that's what we're supposed to be taking away.
Okay.
Is that Father Moore killed her?
I know this doesn't have anything really to do with the movie, but it kind of reminded me. Well, I was reading. I can't remember what it was. It was a science thing written. But before we were always told we can't control our pupils. Well, this guy came and was like, I can,
Uh-huh.
and he did. Like he can make his pupils big and
The
small
fuck?
as he just when he wants.
Is it like the titty bounce?
And they were like,
Wait.
what the fuck?
Okay, I thought, I have got to be honest, when you said this guy came up, I thought you just saw a guy on the street.
No.
He's like,
Well, they
I know you've probably read.
No, they interviewed him and did a
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing, and I was like, holy shit.
So it's like a specific skill that he has.
Right, kind of like a muscle.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
You're saying that she could have tapped into
Right.
something like that.
Right.
That is very interesting. But I do want to point out that what was seen was not dilated pupils.
No.
Your
Right.
pupils don't
But-
dilate to your entire
no,
eyeball.
yeah.
I do also want to point out that Jason did not see that happen.
Oh.
Her back was to him when it happened.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to go off on some bullshit and then I saw her eyes.
Her eyes were all fucking black.
You did not see that.
Right,
it was also very dark. Nate, I'm looking at you right now. I don't know how big your fucking pupils are. I don't know. And we have brown eyes, so it just makes it even harder.
Yeah.
And so does she.
It's all bullshit, dude.
And so Jason's a liar.
Yeah, so that's what we've confirmed. But on cross-examination, Aaron asks how he knows Gambutrol would have helped, considering Emily was experiencing psychosis after she was taking the medication. Briggs says that Gambutrol takes a cumulative effect and has to build up in the system, but admits that he doesn't know for certain that it would have helped. It seems like the second you get asked one question, the doctors don't know anything.
I don't know.
But again, that's to them. Yeah, they, the prosecution probably brought him in to testify for them, but then now you can't lie.
Right.
So if the defense is coming in like, really?
And you have to be
what are you gonna do? Yeah.
And the difficulty about cross-examination is that you're only allowed to ask questions germane to the questions that were asked by the first lawyer.
Right.
And so anything that Ethan got out of him is fair game.
Right.
So if you're going to say Gambutrol did this shit, we're
So
about to find out about Gambutrol.
It's your own fault.
Yeah. But this is when Aaron asks if he literally made up the term psychotic epileptic disorder. And he's like, oh, yeah, I did.
He's like, listen, I'm sure someone has put those words together at some point.
Yeah. If you Google them in quotation marks, I bet you'll find it. It may be this movie.
But that but that does really take the steam out of your entire testimony.
Ethan's fucking ripping up papers on his side. He's not, but he should have been.
Stomping on his hat.
But Briggs says in his opinion, though, he would have tranquilized her, force-fed her, and then treated her with electroshock therapy. Now, and I know it sounds like he's like, I just would have done a little torture. It's no big deal. But the jury is obviously like, God damn.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I bet medically this possibly is the right way to go.
Yeah.
The electroshock thing always seemed like bullshit to me. I don't understand how that was ever a thing. And I know that it is still a thing.
They still do that.
It feels like it should not be medicine.
Yeah.
But I understand.
It feels like it should be medicine in the House on Haunted Hill hospital.
Yeah. Dr. Vaniket does the shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like when she gets to this point, sedating her and hooking her up to an IV seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the demon would just get bored and leave.
He's like, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
But after the proceedings end for the day, Aaron apologizes to Father Moore for being late, blaming a power outage for knocking out her alarm clock.
Right.
Father Moore is like, no, it's demons.
Yeah. He's trying to warn you again.
But for me, if I'm her, I don't believe in any of that stuff. And so I'd be like, we need to focus on the case. If you say demons one more time, I'm out.
You don't get to
You're
testify.
on your own. Yeah, that violates our deal. But he tells her not to let the dark forces get to her. She tells him that case-wise they're doing fine. And then immediately after he walks off, she tells Ray, her colleague played by J.R. Bourne, that they need to find a doctor to testify that Emily wasn't epileptic or schizophrenic or they're fucked.
I mean, does not look good.
Oh, not at all.
And also, all this dude, every time I see him, I just think of 13 Ghosts.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's a very important scene in that movie that he plays a huge part in.
He was a lawyer in that movie too.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
Everyone's getting typecast.
Yeah.
But that night at the library, Ray brings Aaron a giant stack of books about demonic possession to help her with her research, but he also brings bad news. The psychiatrist she wanted as a witness is tied up in another trial, and the neurologist that she wanted is headed outside the country, I guess, on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But after shrugging off some non-PC bullshit from Ray, Aaron reads about contemporary exorcisms in other countries, saying that instead of continuing to argue medicine, maybe they should try to validate the idea of possession as a whole. Seeing as an anthropologist who wrote the book she's reading approaches exorcism scientifically, Aaron thinks she'd be the perfect person to bring in for the trial, so she tasks Ray with contacting her.
I like this. Let's make this, let's bring this to the jury.
Well, because the other way that they were trying is it's not working.
No, when they're literally just like, well, the drug, you said it worked, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
No, yeah.
The jury's like, I'm bored.
Are they Ralph?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But she says to keep looking for a doctor to counter Briggs's testimony, but to get the anthropologist on board and immediately. So, again, as we said at the beginning, it was at this point that I'm like, God damn, why couldn't The Conjuring 3 have been this?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted. I am still very annoyed. I know a lot of people liked it. Don't be mad, please.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't what it could have been.
And it was the worst of the 3.
Oh, well, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I was laughing because she's like, instead of poking holes, we can just try to validate this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, she shows up to court in a nun's habit tomorrow.
Oh, fuck.
Father Moore's like, finally, you're taking it seriously. But the next day in court, Aaron presents an alternative argument to the jury. Perhaps medical treatment wasn't what could have helped Emily. Aaron posits that if Emily didn't suffer from psychosis or epilepsy, it's possible she truly suffered from demonic possession and that an exorcism was the only cure. As soon as the crowd is like, come on, man.
Yeah.
She tries to meet them halfway. You don't have to believe in this stuff, but after the failure of the doctors, it's possible Father Moore tried to help her in a way that she and her family believed could cure her. But the real purpose is to demonstrate that after all he did, there was nothing Father Moore could have done to prevent her death. We then transition back to the past, with Emily sitting with Jason in the cafeteria. She pops a couple Gambutrol and looks completely zonked.
Mm-hmm.
She also refuses to eat, which might be because, she's got a belly full of demons.
Right. She's full.
But she looks around at everyone, the endless chatter, their disgusting noises of drinking and eating amplified to honestly nauseating levels. Even I was like, okay, that's enough.
No, it was nasty.
Yeah, I did not like that.
I was not a fan.
All.
I think there's a condition, like an actual condition
with people chewing.
Yeah, that really gets to people. But she covers her ears in distress. But back in court, Jason explains that Emily would complain about the noises, and she said that even though she was hungry, they wouldn't let her eat. The forces that were inside of her, the demons. So see, belly full of demons.
Yeah.
But he explains that he walked her back to her dorm later that night, and she seemed scared, so he stayed with her and eventually fell asleep. We flash back to that night, and as Jason wakes up, he realizes he's in bed alone. He looks down to the floor and he recoils in fear as we see Emily's twisted body, her head cocked back, staring right at Jason.
It's horrifying.
Yeah,
It is.
That would suck.
She's not blinking.
Yeah.
No.
Her eyes are just wide open, probably black pupils. We can't tell. It's very dark. But he slowly makes his way over to her and she just stares at him, not responding. As soon as he gets close, she lets out a low demonic howl. We then transition to a shot of Jason arriving at the Rose farm, a full moon hanging massive above his car. Now, I do want to point out that when her body is contorted like that, it's a puppet.
All right.
Oh, it looked good.
It looks
Yeah.
very good. This is one of the scenes where she did not contort herself.
Well, good,
All right.
because
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I'm concerned.
But I do want to say that the transition with the moon, she's screaming,
Yeah.
but the moon appears in her mouth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was
it
a
was
choice.
an odd choice.
I did think that too. I was like, okay.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
laughed. I'm like, I don't think that's what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
But Jason explains that he called Nathaniel, and Nathaniel told him to bring Emily home. Then we switch to Nathaniel on the stand, who says Emily stayed home after that incident and things just got worse. When she didn't improve, that's when they brought in Father Moore. And the night he arrived, Nathaniel says that he sent his daughter Alice to see if Emily was awake. Now, we flash back to that night, but I gotta say, your daughter is literally full of demons,
Yeah.
and you send your younger daughter
That's what I was thinking. That's
to
fucked
check
up.
on her.
He was just scared.
Yeah.
Why don't you go check?
So Emily's upstairs. You know where that is, right?
Yeah. Well,
Like-
she didn't even have a name, so
That's true.
No, she's the only one that had a name.
Oh, that's right. It's Alice.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
They're like, well, we could send Emily's sister too, but she's scared shitless. I don't know. I just was very annoyed by his shitty fucking parenting. But we see Alice cautiously making her way down the hall, calling out to Emily and knocking on the door. We then hear Emily struggling to get out the Lord's Prayer. Alice opens the door to find Emily crouched on the ground with her back to her. As Emily mutters, "Give us this, our daily bread," we notice that she has amassed a large collection of dead bugs and just starts snacking on a spider.
yeah.
I'll come back later. Like you're
You're
busy.
clearly busy.
I'm intruding.
Yeah.
Enjoy
None of
your
my
meal.
business. Enjoy your meal. Bon appetit. But Alice screams, and Emily responds with a silent scream, then a much louder, longer, and more powerful scream. This scream goes on forever.
It does.
Yeah.
And Derrickson said that she did this.
Damn.
She's a fucking beast, man.
It's unbelievable.
I'm surprised. I know she was in quarantine that she hasn't done more horror.
Yeah, because she's great.
Yeah.
Maybe she's afraid of getting typecast.
Well, yeah, because I would just, okay, you're possessed.
Can you scream all the
yeah.
time? But Emily scratches at the walls, fucking jumps onto her knees and off like she's trying to kneel, but the demon's like, nope.
Yeah.
Just pushing her back up.
She's like, okay, let me try again.
Yeah.
But this is when Nathaniel and Father Moore rush in, and Emily starts tearing out her own hair, and they wrestle her to the ground. She then has a raging case of the Jimmy legs, but they finally settle her down. As soon as they do, though, she starts speaking in a foreign language, her spine crackling as she turns her head away from them. The two men then pick her up, and she is light as a feather, stiff as a board. Still speaking in a foreign language, Emily says, I am the one who dwells within. Father Moore says that he's here in the name of the Lord, and Emily asks, you think you can force me out, priest? Try. I dare you. Then she collapses to the floor, and her father just lets her fall.
Well, he's like, oh, shit. I mean, she's just talking shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, demons are kind of into that.
Yeah.
She's
That's
like,
kind of their thing.
With your ashy ass lips. Father Moore's like, that's just, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's unacceptable.
It's just fucking rude.
It's like on Sunday when she called Dennis baby dick. He's like, so I'm gone. That's it.
We all have a line.
Yes.
Okay.
But she scratches at the priest's face and the scene just ends.
She didn't need to do that.
No.
That was petty as fuck.
That is, again...
Shit had happened. Everything calmed down. And she's like, ha! I was like, what the fuck?
She couldn't have just been collapsed.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't done.
But in the immediate next scene, apparently offended, we see Father Moore leaving the house.
Well...
Emily stands at the window very creepily, and as he walks by the window, Emily sits down at the piano and begins to play Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C minor. So this, to me, is almost like Room 1408. We've only just begun.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there was a very nice purple light coming out of the door.
Yeah.
Just had to point that out.
I was like, here's some farewell music.
Yeah.
Right. Let me play you out.
Yeah.
Here's your outro because you're gone. But this is when Ethan cross-examines Nathaniel in court. He asks if Nathaniel reads the Bible, which he knows he does, then asks if he reads the DSM, which, come on, man.
Yeah.
Nobody reads the DSM.
I read it for college.
I read it for fun.
Well,
I read Dad's copy, but come on.
Thanks to the DSM, though, Ethan explains that Emily's lack of eating are an indicator of anorexia, and the locking up of her joints and body are a symptom of psychosis.
She was eating, though.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's protein.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do fry
Yeah.
tarantulas
she
and eat 'em.
was going the sushi route with
Well,
the spiders, but
I didn't see any rice and shit.
she was
It's like,
eating.
I'm eating spider nigiri.
It's all right.
Where's the seaweed?
Yeah.
But he then asks if Nathaniel has ever visited an asylum, and he says that he has, and that his aunt was in one before she died, confirming his family has a history of mental illness. Aaron's like, God damn it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is the issue with putting people on the stand, is once Cross starts, you have no control.
Yeah.
And he literally just gave up something he should not have.
Yeah.
Well,
My aunt was in a mental hospital. It's like, oh, really?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
my aunt also liked to eat spiders. Maybe
Interesting. Maybe she got that.
from her.
Maybe she learned the recipe from my aunt.
The recipe.
But considering what he saw that night, Ethan asked if it could simply be mental illness that caused it, but Nathaniel says it didn't feel like that to him or Father Moore. It's very funny because not funny because it's very tragic.
Yeah.
But in the real case, the father involved in that, he rocked up on the spot and he's like, well, this doesn't feel like epilepsy. It's like, what the fuck do you know,
Thank
dude?
you, doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Father Doctor.
Father Doctor. But I like that they're bringing that in here a little bit. Although they are painting Father Moore in a very, very generous light.
Yeah.
Very much so. That's why I'm like, it's very skewed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what they want us to think.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you remember that movie Doubt?
Yeah.
Where it was like, did the priest do it? And only Philip Seymour Hoffman knew if the priest did it. I would have appreciated something like that.
A little more ambiguity.
Only the demon knows if it was real or not. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he was called to the stand.
You know, we don't know.
No.
But this is like, not with demons.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to play with maybe it was some medical shit, but not with demons.
And then we're going to make everyone who thinks it wasn't demons a fucking
You're an
asshole.
asshole, yeah.
But after Nathaniel says he trusts Father Moore, he says that after that night, Emily was entirely in Father Moore's care because they had exhausted all options. After Nathaniel steps down from the stand, Aaron calls Dr. Sadira Adani, the anthropology professor played by Sheree Agdashalu. After questions about her educational history, Adani explains her expertise is studying spiritual experiences of other cultures, as well as the physiological and psychological changes that people undergo during these experiences. Literally, the perfect witness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She then explains that in her field, she's seen numerous people who believed they were being invaded by supernatural entities. She says based on Emily's case file, she thinks Emily was hypersensitive, which means she had an unusual connection to something that she calls the separate reality, which allowed her to be more susceptible to possession.
The further.
There you go.
Yeah.
We should get Elise Rayner called to the stand. But this is when Ethan calls objection.
Yeah.
The judge is like, but why though? Ethan's like, how about silliness?
But it's not.
Just objection.
Yeah,
just a blanket objection.
That's the issue, is that again, he looks like an asshole.
Yeah.
Because now you're talking shit about other cultures.
Yeah.
But the judge calls him and Aaron to the bench for a sidebar, with Aaron arguing that Adani's expertise is extremely relevant. Ethan's like, well, why don't we bring up a witch doctor and have him go through some monkey bones while we're at it? I'm like, why don't you go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
Ethan?
First of all, that was very offensive.
Very offensive.
Secondly, I love when the judge calls them up to the bench because it's like two kids getting in trouble.
We're like, God damn it, we stepped out of bounds.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me is that I agree with the medical arguments being made on Ethan's behalf, but then they have to have him saying stupid shit like this.
Yeah, it's like you have to see the other side.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to win your case if you only hear my argument for it.
And then it's like, oh, well, no, he's also racist. Like, what?
Let's toss that little cherry on top.
I don't agree with that part, but the science is good. But the judge decides to allow the testimony as a counterbalance to the medical testimony they've been hearing the entire trial, and Ethan is fucking pissed.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
It is only fair. On the Legal Eagle, they said that it's on the line as to whether or not they would allow this testimony. It makes sense because it fits the argument of the defense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is really all speculative. Even though it's about her research and everything,
Right.
Yeah.
they can't say for certain what Emily was thinking or feeling because she's not here.
Well, no, but I mean, we're talking about, I was going to say we're talking about a man's life, but that's not really. But I mean, we are talking about sending a priest to jail. If I'm just saying in my courtroom,
Okay.
Judge Reneé would allow it. That's all I'm saying.
Objection.
I just
I
don't.
need a court show.
Now you have no legal
Yeah, I don't.
expertise at all. Your sentences mean nothing. They have to go to a real court after.
But can the judge watch my show before she tries them?
She's like, I don't know who this is.
What is this?
This means nothing to me. I am an actual judge.
In my courtroom, we have like the reality TV confessionals in the back.
Is that right?
I'm down. Like, let's make this happen. Why do you both look upset?
You bring me on as a producer and we'll talk.
I just don't see the harm in letting her testify. I get it.
Oh, coming back to reality. Yes, I agree. I would allow it.
I think it's understandable that they allow it, but at the same time, when we're arguing, you want to know why it's okay that they're allowing it?
Mm-hmm.
Because Ethan has been made out to be such an asshole
Uh-huh.
that we're glad to see him lose a little.
Something, yeah.
But in reality, if we're in court and I'm on a jury, I am disregarding this entire testimony.
But
Really?
why?
Because it doesn't make logical sense. It has nothing to do with the negligent death. What she believed is fine. That's up to her. That's up to Father Moore. But his negligence led to her death.
I mean, yes and no, because I mean, we were talking about this earlier. There was some study that proved that hyper religiosity can mess with the brain. I want to say it was the temporal lobe. Like there was a reaction.
And I
So
totally...
it's like, I feel like that is definitely a factor. Yeah, she's dead and it kind of doesn't matter how she died, but it does.
I think my thing is that even if this is what Emily believed was happening, I think it's totally fine to stage that exorcism. But the second it comes a matter of life and death, you're a fucking priest. You're not a doctor. You need to take her to a hospital.
But they did. And she was on medicine and nothing has been working.
But nothing has been working in this film.
Well,
they wrote it not to work.
Well,
no,
yeah.
I know. But I'm saying if this was a real life scenario and one of the kids was taking medicine for something and they're like, well, he might be sick, but we don't know. Take this anyway. What? And shit's still going on? I mean, if I'm that religious, I probably would go to the church too. Help. She is on medication, but I don't know what to do anymore.
That's what I'm saying. We're on trial for negligent homicide. And if he's there and he's trying to do what they think, and I'm not saying that I support this because no, but if he's there and he's doing what in their religion and in their beliefs is treatment for her, that's not negligent. It's not negligent.
I think it is negligent when it gets to the point that she's starving to death and we're like, well, let's just keep her in the room.
I mean,
she can't make decisions on her own, but let's throw some water at her.
Just give her some more spiders, man. Like, that's the one thing she's keeping down.
Yeah.
That's the one thing she's keeping down.
But it is food.
If it works, it works.
It is. And they
Protein.
did sound crispy.
Ooh.
I think that's the deciding factor for me.
We're not having spiders for lunch.
Did you say spider with gravy?
Yeah.
I'd prefer a dipping sauce, but
ranch?
I hate ranch.
Ew.
But
Honey mustard?
we'll talk.
What dipping sauce do y'all like with your spiders?
Sound off in the comments. Tweet us at the pod Mortem.
Hey, those crickets and ants weren't that bad.
The ants were terrible. The crickets were delicious.
The ants, they weren't as good as the crickets. The crickets were good.
Crickets were pretty good.
Yeah.
But as Aaron continues her line of questioning,
what's wrong with us today?
I don't know. Adani explains that Emily's exorcism failed because of the medical treatment, specifically her use of Gambutrol. She says an exorcism works because it's able to separate the person from their possession experience inside the brain, but the Gambutrol she took made her immune to the shock that the exorcism is intended to create. This effectively locked her in the state of possession, unable to be exorcised, causing her death.
So exorcisms are just supposed to like shock? It's like scaring somebody with hiccups?
You just shout boo and the demon's gone.
Like,
oh shit!
Yeah. I think once you create a solution in your mind, it's possible that the mind is powerful enough to allow that solution to work.
Definitely.
So the argument makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that her not being exorcised caused her death. I think that's a leap.
It's a reach.
I think what caused her death is malnutrition and Father Moore sitting on his ass, not taking her to the hospital.
He wasn't sitting on his ass. He was praying.
Sitting on his ass. He was sitting while praying.
Before we move on real quick, I love this lady. I love her voice. I can listen to her talk for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She also did a character on Destiny. And I love it. She's not there anymore. Spoilers if you play Destiny or plan on it. It's an old game. It's been out for a long time. But I love this woman.
I think she does such a great job. And her performance allows this to be believable.
Yes.
And I think I heard on the commentary, Derrickson said that as soon as he wrote this part, he wanted her for it.
Well, she does it perfectly.
But later outside the courthouse, Ray runs up to Aaron with great news. He's found a doctor who wants to testify. But not only that, he was actually there that night.
Like, wait, what?
How mad would you be?
I'd be
furious. Why the hell did you not tell me this?
Even if you're just like, look, I can't or I'm not supposed to say something, but...
Your life is on the line.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with me. Well,
we keep saying
I know we keep doing that. We're trying to up the stakes for some reason. The death penalty is on. No, it's not.
It's not.
But his name is Dr. Graham Cartwright of the Department of Abnormal Psychiatry. So Aaron heads back inside to confront Father Moore, who admits that Dr. Cartwright was there. She asks how he couldn't have told her a doctor was there for the exorcism, and the priest says that he promised to keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is on the line.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
That's what I'm... Well, he did say earlier he didn't care as long as he could tell the story. But, I mean...
What surprises me more than anything is that Aaron seems to accept this.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess priests, technically probably aren't supposed to lie.
I hope they're not lying.
I would hope.
Yeah.
Did he pinky promise? Because then I understand.
That's legally binding.
That's legally binding.
But in the next scene, we see Aaron meeting with Dr. Cartwright, played by Duncan Fraser, in a park. He's feeding a ton of pigeons as she walks up, and he says that he recognizes her from the courtroom drawings on the news, but says that she's much prettier in real life.
Yeah, that was weird.
You look very pretty today.
Is he
Get away from him!
He's got a shrimp in him. But Aaron sits down next to him, and he tells her that she's losing. He says he wished Father Moore wouldn't need him, but he does not want to see him go to prison. As it turns out, Cartwright was a parishioner of Father Moore's at St. Vincent's Church some years ago and hadn't even talked to him in years, but then suddenly gets a phone call from him. Father Moore wanted a medical perspective from a psychiatrist that he knew and trusted so that he could monitor Emily's physical and mental state during the... And then he stops, but Aaron finishes his sentence, during the exorcism. Mm-hmm. This is when all the birds fly away.
Yeah. They're like, oh no.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, I want no parts of this.
It made me think of Candyman when she's like, don't say that.
Nope.
But Aaron asks if he can help their case, and Cartwright puts it bluntly. Emily was not epileptic, schizophrenic, or any combination of those. He's an expert on those conditions, but he says what he saw that night scared him, and that if he knew what Father Moore had dragged him into, he never would have shown up. He says he examined Emily that night, and when the demon wasn't in control, she was totally normal and aware of what was going on, which is completely contradictory to a diagnosis of psychosis. As they put it simply, crazy people don't know they're crazy.
Yeah.
She asks if he'll testify, and he tells her to send him the case files and tell him when to be in court. She thanks him, very relieved, but then Cartwright whips out a tape recorder from his pocket and says that Father Moore told him to take care of it. He gives it to her, though, and says that it's her problem now.
Thank you, doctor. I'm just glad he's going to testify because this changes the entire case.
Oh, yeah, because not only do you have a witness that was there that night, you have an authority.
Yeah. Everything hangs on this testimony. So I'm glad he's going.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
But before he leaves, she asks if he was asked to give Emily any medical help. He says Father Moore was trying to keep her from injuring herself and trying to get her to eat, but he said as a doctor, there was nothing he could do to help Emily.
As a doctor?
Yeah. I'm like,
there was nothing?
You want to know something that I could do as not a doctor? Put her ass in a car and drive her to a hospital. But what do I know?
What?
Well, the way I took it was like maybe he's like, I don't know what to do. You don't have any symptoms of anything I've seen or I've never seen this before. I don't know what I'm supposed to fucking do.
He's like, look, she was scary as fuck.
Yeah. There you go. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
There's not a chapter in his book about demons.
Yeah. Where is this again?
Yeah.
He was sick that day in med school.
Yeah.
But in the next scene, Aaron tells Father Moore the great news that Cartwright is going to testify. He's like, when the hell do I get to testify? He says what matters most is Emily's story, which only he can tell. He then brings the party way down, asking if she's thought about what he said earlier about demonic attacks. She sits next to him and says that she has. She says the day when Briggs testified, it really messed her up, so she went for a walk to clear her head. We then see her walking through the snow, as she says she wondered what it would mean if demons actually existed.
This is the part where it's like all white.
Yeah, even she's wearing all white.
She's wearing all white. It's snowing. The sky is white.
She's dressed as the snowman. Like it's overkill.
Yeah.
Very, very white. But as she continued to walk, she noticed something on the ground. A gold locket with the initials ECB engraved on it. Her initials. Erin Christine Bruner.
I'm not going to lie. I'm joking. I live for shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would lose my shit if I found that.
With good cause.
Well, yeah. But I was like, is this for real? I was like,
But in my mind, I'm like, where Erica Celeste Baker is like, my locket.
Oh, shit, I dropped it. I think it's funny because at this point, part of me thought she was lying.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, is she telling the truth? Is she being... I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Is she just trying to calm him?
Yeah.
And like connect or what? Because part of me didn't believe this story at this point.
I did because I feel like, I don't know, if they had spent a little more time developing like a calculating side to her, that would have been an interesting, she's like, look, there was no fucking locket, okay?
Well,
like that would have been interesting. But No, I mean, yeah, she was calculating because she got a murderer off, but now he did it again and she's all tore up and she's, fighting demons in her apartment at 3 a.m. Like, I feel like she's completely ate up. I don't see her lying about this.
But dude told her not to let him take the stand, and immediately when she went to talk, she was like, sure, you can.
That's what I'm saying.
So
it feels like it was set up to see, well, who's going to win over?
Right.
This calculating woman who's trying to climb the ladder. No, she was never that from day one. I'm not taking a deal. You got it, boss. You want to be on the stand? You got it. It's like, wait.
Well, I think it's a little muddled because she is presented as that calculating person.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's gone the second she meets this priest.
He's powerful.
I would have liked a little more push-pull with that. That's all I'm saying.
But Aaron says that this locket could be a sign or it could be an incredible coincidence. But either way, it made her feel like she was where she was meant to be. Father Moore says that she sounds more like a mystic than an agnostic and tells her that she should actually wear the locket. Now, this locket story was inspired by a true story, 2 of them actually, one of them involving a tie clip with initials on it.
Wow.
The other one was, I guess, Derrickson was on his way to teach a class about films of Akira Kurosawa, and he was carrying his favorite Kurosawa film that involved a dying man. Mm-hmm. As he's walking into class, he gets a call from his brother that his father passed away.
Oh, wow.
And so he connected it in his mind. Basically, this situation, he in his head was comforted by him holding his favorite film about this subject when he heard the news. But it's also exactly what Aaron is going through was what went through his head.
That's really sad.
So very sad, but very understandable.
Yeah.
But after this moment of connection, she admits that the archdiocese does not want him to testify and wants her to talk him out of it, but she's not going to try. She thinks that the jury would find him credible, and when juxtaposed with Cartwright's testimony backing him up and refuting the medical arguments of the prosecution, they'll probably get an acquittal.
Because of Cartwright.
Yeah.
I mean, he's bringing the thunder. I was
thunder. All I was thinking was Cartwright.
Me too.
Just like that.
I was surprised that she was honest with him about that.
Yeah.
Because, so was she shining him on at the beginning when she was like, "Oh yeah, you'll testify"?
Yeah.
Like, was that genuine?
I think she was bullshitting him at first because this feels like
because now she's like, "Look, they don't want you to
level with you."
Yeah.
But that night, we see Erin sleeping in bed, the clock behind her reading 3 a.m. The camera moves closer to her, and the sounds of whispers stir her awake. She hears the sounds of screams coming from her living room, only to find the tape of Emily's exorcism playing on its own.
It's a hell of an alarm clock.
Yeah.
God damn.
I don't like that setting.
No.
So it's when they zoom in on the clock, there's a book under it with a scary face on the binding.
Oh, no shit.
And I was like, oh, there's a face there. And I was like, rewind it. But when you rewind it and then stop it, it's part of the book.
It was just on the book.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
They're planting seeds.
Right.
They're like, this is about a demon.
Yeah.
But she just shuts off the tape recorder and walks away. She is way too chill.
There's no way I would stay here after that.
After what happened the night previous?
Fuck no.
We're not doing this. But the next day in court, Father Moore has taken the stand. After Aaron asks him the details, he explains that he was given permission to perform the exorcism on October 27th and stayed up all night studying the Roman ritual of exorcism.
He's cramming for his exorcism exam.
Well, I feel like maybe you shouldn't get confirmation without having this on the noodle already.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shit.
And then maybe when you're going to perform an exorcism, don't stay up all night.
Maybe not. He's like, power of Christ. It's like, are you tired? Did you sleep last night? But he fell asleep with the book in his hand, but we see him wake up with a start. He says he was freezing. The book falls to the floor and the lamp on his nightstand flickers. It was exactly 3 a.m., which he says is the demonic witching hour used to mock the Holy Trinity.
Aaron's like, fuck.
You see it on her face. She has no poker face. But he says that he also smelled something burning and remembers this was the same thing perceived by Emily.
I just wanted to point out really quick, the witching hour is in mockery of the miracle hour, which was when Christ died.
I think it was when he came back.
He said when he died.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He said 3 p.m. was Christ's death.
So what?
When Don't call that the miracle hour.
Yeah,
the hour when
that
seems very ding dong, the witch is dead.
It sounds like you're gonna party as soon as.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No, I'm not a big fan of that. But we watch as he leaves his room and makes his way down a hall, each agonizing step creaking. He watches as blood appears on stained glass and paintings all around him begin to corrode. I saw on the commentary, or I heard actually, I didn't see that. Derrickson said that whenever this scene was filmed, there was no effect or anything, and they didn't even know what they had planned. And so before he sent it to the CG department, he told Tom Wilkinson, he's like, I need you to just act like something really scary just happened.
Yeah.
All right.
And so he did.
Yeah.
And so they did this with the CG later, which the
lighting, you mean?
I learned was just lighting.
Yeah, it was just lighting.
But I think it is effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he begins to pray, but eventually gives up, running down the stairs with the camera attached to him like MTV's Fear.
Yeah.
I, in my notes, put MTV's Fear View.
That's the first place I ever saw that shit. I don't think they invented it.
They did to me.
But to me, yeah. They were the first.
I'm not the one who's so far away.
That's how the song ended.
Thank you,
On
Dave.
the show.
Yes.
Anyways, when he finally makes it outside, he catches his breath in the pouring rain. Against the purple light of a window, he sees the silhouette of a hooded figure nod at him.
Like, let's do this shit.
Yeah. He's like, you rang?
That was a lot just to make an entrance.
He's like, this is just a taste.
Yeah.
So again, this brings me back to the hooded figure that we thought we saw in Aaron's apartment.
Yeah.
It seems like they're planting the seeds of a hooded figure throughout the entire film.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this moment is the payoff of that foreshadowing.
The hooded figure in Prince of Darkness could also be considered foreshadowing.
So they so they started in
That was
87.
a prequel. Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Not that kind of interesting because it is
Because
It is unrelated.
It's bullshit.
But back in court, Father Moore says that he saw the gesture as an acknowledgement that the game was on. Ethan, on cross-examination, mocks this notion, of course, calling the priest God's gunslinger.
What a dick, man.
Yeah.
Aaron obviously objects, and the judge admonishes him, and he apologizes.
Is this when she talks to him like a child?
Well, when she's like, Ethan Thomas or whatever. Mr. Thomas. Well, no, there's one that comes later that
Maybe
is
that's what I'm thinking.
very egregious.
Well, the thing is my problem again with the lawyer being religious and then being like, I'm going to hang him, is that you can't say shit like that when you know probably everyone in that room believes in God or something.
You don't think he'd be so flippant?
Yeah,
you mean?
you can't
Yeah,
just-
that's fair.
Well, but let me put it in all fairness, there's a lot of denominations. Maybe there are some denominations that think exorcism is bullshit. That is seemingly a specifically Catholic,
right.
at least in the ways that we see in film.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's, we've talked about Dybbuk stuff. And
Yeah.
There's other religions. She was just talking about other countries.
Right.
So it's a worldwide thing. But the way that we normally see it is through Catholicism. Maybe there are some sects of Christianity that are like, oh, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not the authority.
I am not either. I'm fucking Aaron Bruner right now.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking Aaron
my
Bruner
God.
right now. I mean, I am her.
Strike that from
Strike
the record.
that from the record. Objection. But it's in moments like this that I just feel like they're going out of their way to make him a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it, again, do the both sides thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it that way. The funny thing is that Derrickson said on commentary that it wasn't his intention to make him a villain. And he said that he relates to this character the most of all the characters.
Well, you made him a dick.
Yeah.
A little fun fact, Campbell Scott is the son of George C. Scott, the actor.
Oh.
And after filming this scene, he told Campbell Scott, he's like, you remind me of your father in Anatomy of a Murder. The film, I think James Stewart, he plays a lawyer as well. But Campbell Scott was like, yeah, I'm stealing all his moves. He was doing it on purpose. But when asked, Father Moore says that he believed the hooded figure was a demonic manifestation meant to excite his fear and admits that it scared the hell out of him.
Then it did its job.
Yeah.
That's why he bowed. He was like, fuck yeah. But he says it was his first encounter with it, but that he's seen it ever since. Ethan's like, no further questions. He's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
No, when you say that you've seen it ever since, I'm sorry. Again, if I'm on the jury, I'm like, oh, he's got issues.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way. But again, I do believe in it. So to me, I was like, even more, if he was like, oh no, yeah, I seen it before this. It was like, really, have you?
Yeah.
But saying, no, since this happened, I can't fucking stop seeing it.
I would be scared.
Yeah.
I'm saying more of a logical juror.
well,
you know, someone who should be a juror.
Right.
Yeah, that's not credible.
Is there a box for that when they send you for jury duty?
I believe it goes.
Yeah.
Man, I bet the jury selection was a pain in the ass on this trial.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
But Erin approaches the stand, tape recorder in hand. She asks when the exorcism was held, and as it turns out, cliche as hell, it was held on Halloween.
Yeah.
As if I didn't say that at the beginning. But Father Moore explains that he thought the traditions that the holiday is based on, they could use the energy of that to basically make the exorcism more impactful.
So in layman's terms, we had spooky vibes.
Yes,
Right.
and we're going to take advantage of those spooky vibes.
Spooky vibes.
But Erin sets down his tape recorder and asks him to identify it, and he does, saying that the tape of the exorcism is inside, which is a common practice to authenticate an exorcism.
I just want to... You can't just be doing this.
Yeah.
No.
This is like big no against the rules. There's discovery.
Yes.
You need to admit things into evidence. The prosecution needs to know that this is coming.
And
the
I'm
prosecution
sorry.
needs to hear the tape.
Yeah.
Let me get through this part because I'm
Sorry, I was just like,
No.
stop.
This is when Erin attempts to enter it into evidence, and Ethan objects again,
As he should.
saying they were not made aware of it until last night. Erin's like, dude, neither were we. To the surprise of the judge, she explains that it wasn't given to her by her client, but by Dr. Cartwright, who will be testifying to its authenticity, among other things. Despite Ethan's hissy fit, Erin has apparently followed all the proper channels, and the tape recorder is allowed into evidence.
I don't think that's accurate.
No.
I think the judge just wants the tea, and I don't blame her.
Right.
Judge Reneé would also have allowed it.
On your show.
On my show.
Like, I want to hear some freaky shit.
We're all here for the freaky shit. Play the freaky shit. This literally happened in Primal Fear.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't a demonic. Demonic possession would be better than what was on that tape. But
He just watched Primal Fear.
this is Primal Fear.
Well,
I just want to point out again, not only is, if I'm the judge, I have no basis for authenticity on this tape,
No, not at all.
except for the defendant.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is not going in.
No, that's a lot. That's what I'm saying. She just wanted what's on the tape. Like she just wanted to know.
Shouldn't we have Dr. Cartwright on the stand first?
Yeah.
To verify not only that he gave the tape, because right now this all feels like hearsay.
Yeah.
It all feels like y'all went and made a tape.
Yeah.
Last night because you're losing. That's what it feels
She's
like.
screaming on the tape in her apartment.
Yeah.
Hey, at least it wasn't like the tape from Liar Liar.
At least it wasn't. As we said, things can always get worse.
But she then asks Father Moore to play the tape. He presses play and we hear his voice on the tape. He says, "This is the exorcism of Emily Rose."
Roll credits.
Those present are Father Moore, Nathaniel, Jason, Dr. Cartwright, and Emily herself, who has given permission for the exorcism to be performed. We're then taken to that night as Father Moore gives his instructions to everyone. He says you can say your own silent prayer when not responding to him, but you have to do whatever he says. Don't ask the demon any questions or pay any attention to what it says.
Remember when Ed Warren said that and then they broke every single rule?
Of course.
yeah.
How else are you going to have a movie, dude? But he says that they won't be dealing with Emily tonight, and she holds her haunted doll, and we hear a low, grumbling chuckle, and Father Moore asks for her to be restrained. He kisses his crucifix and begins the prayers. Emily, tied to the bed, just sits there panting, but as soon as Father Moore hits her with the holy water, she goes still and lurches forward, opening her eyes.
She looks like shit, man.
It's rough. Father Moore says that it's begun. Downstairs, Maria, Alice, and her two superfluous sisters watch as a crucifix on the wall swings upside down. Very standard exorcism imagery,
yeah.
but you love to see it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Back upstairs, the men read prayers together as Emily stirs awake, ripping free of her restraints and slapping her father across the face. Screaming in German, she admonishes Nathaniel, mocking him for thinking he could keep his daughter safe. She throws her haunted doll against the door, which causes it to creak open.
I love how we're just accepting that this doll is haunted.
That doll was scary as shit.
Yeah.
Allegedly haunted. This is a court of law.
I'm sorry. That alleged doll. Even.
Jennifer Carpenter really could front for a metal band.
Oh, hell
Like,
yeah.
she's fucking like...
I'd listen.
That's a lot.
Cartwright's like, my God.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't told any of this shit.
Yeah, no.
But as
What was he told? You want to come see some freaky
Yeah.
it's like, I'm down for that, man.
shit? We all want to see some freaky shit.
Yeah. But as Father Moore recites the Lord's Prayer and the others join in, Emily finishes the prayer in a scream, "Deliver us from evil." The priest asks the demon's name, and we see the door creak open, and it appears things run in around them. Emily says that she is the thing that dwells within, but the priest just pulls a cool cat, and he's like, "Identify yourself." Instead, Emily just counts to 6 over and over again, saying, "Trick or treat, I give you treats and tricks." So the demon knows it's Halloween.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, is this a song by The Used?
Yeah, I know.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm loving it. Was this a bonus track on In Love and Death? But we see Father Moore is surrounded by cats who just proceed to hop up and whip his entire ass.
It's like, no, she's got the cats on her side.
She brought them in.
We're fucked.
She's like, demon or not.
Yeah, I'm riding for that bitch. 'Cause I'd be outside.
I'd be on the streets. But the men rush to help him out of the frantic feline fight, and Emily sees this as her chance to, and just fucking jumps through the window.
Straight Spider-Man out there, motherfucker.
Like through the glass. It's not
Yeah.
even open. But she runs to the barn in the rain. Nathaniel rushes downstairs with the rest of the men following after, including Alice. She joins the fray, and she just stands in the rain watching in fear and disbelief. Once inside the barn, Nathaniel grabs Emily, who is trying to drown herself in a trough. He says that Emily is burning up, like temperature-wise.
Right.
I mean, I just had to be clear.
Thank you for
It's like, she's on fire.
for
It's
the
not NBA jams, man.
But Emily shrieks as the men pull her to the ground. As Alice calls her name from the doorway, Emily howls into the night something fierce, and the horses freak the fuck out. This is when Father Moore instructs Cartwright to check her vital signs. As the storm rages outside, the camera sweeps around the men, the priest in prayer. The barn door swings open, Emily snarls and low moans filling the night. We get shots of bugs, spiders, snakes, and rats just apparently hanging out in the bar now.
Yeah.
The bar now.
the bar.
The barn now. They went to the sidebar.
Yeah. There you go.
Enunciation.
Enunciation. That's the real villain of this film.
Those are her. I mean, Emily, maybe she knew that this was coming because she's just been amassing these animals to
Yeah. We
come
saw
to her defense.
her first collection upstairs.
Yeah, she's like evil Snow White.
Yeah. It's honestly, I'd watch that film. She poisons the apple.
Yeah.
But in his prayer, Father Moore says God gives power to tread on all things, and nothing shall by any means hurt her. Emily's like, nothing? And just whips the snake at his back.
That snake was a real one. He's like, the cat said you were cool, so...
Say no more, fam. But Father Moore screams. Pissed off about that snake toss, he presses his crucifix against her chest, burning her, and she starts to freak out. She grabs Cartwright by the throat as Father Moore screams for the demon to release him. Emily then stands up, facing off with the priest, and once again he demands to know the demon's name. Emily just screams, "Names," and continues to count to 6 over and over. The priest demands the demon depart from this vessel of God and tell him its 6 names. Emily says, "We are the ones who dwell within." She was saying I earlier.
Yeah.
No, they got homies now.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting because the whole time the demon was given clues.
Yeah.
He's like, "Tell me your name." And he's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 names.
Do you mean names?
It's like, until you do, I'm just going to keep fucking
The
around.
demon just actually him.
Yeah. But
Did you say name as in singular?
Oh, well then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you stupid piece of shit. But in various languages, Emily says that she once dwelt within Cain, Nero, Judas, and she was with Legion. She says she's Belial and she is Lucifer in the flesh.
What an introduction.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good. And in an amazing shot, we see Emily silhouetted against the lightning, small holes for eyes the same color as the lightning surrounding her. It's incredible. She howls once more in several voices at once, and the horses are like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, the horses at this point, and I told your sister, I said, I don't know why, but one of these horses is David Alan Grier. So I hear
in his mind.
Yeah,
I was
in my
like,
mind, I can hear him. Oh, fuck this, man. And he's just gone.
I just love that was the line. They hung tight for this whole thing.
Well, they're like the judge. They're like, I just want to see some freaky shit.
Did that bitch say Legion?
Yeah.
Nah.
Nope.
In the flesh?
Yeah.
That's the line. That's the line.
Let's go, Buttercup. Fuck this.
But the horses bail out of the barn, understandably.
Yes.
One horse gives Nathaniel the Archibald Whitman treatment and fucking kicks him before breaking out. Cartwright goes to help him as Emily stops howling and just collapses to the floor. On commentary, Derrickson said that the camera operator had to take a break at this point.
Damn.
I bet.
He said that Jennifer Carpenter scared the shit out of him.
Well, fuck.
Oh, I thought because he was tired.
Oh,
he was
no.
scared?
He was scared.
Well, she does a damn good job.
She really does.
He's like, look, I'm union, so you need to tell me if there's an actual demon in that girl.
Right. I don't know what we just did, but is this real?
Yeah. Everything is not pizza.
No.
But in present day, Father Moore explains that after they revived Nathaniel, the exorcism had to be abandoned. They took Emily into her room where she fell into a deep sleep. He says the exorcism was a total failure, and in the time between the exorcism and her death, Emily was violent toward herself and others, screaming for hours on end, breaking her teeth trying to bite holes in walls, just all types of shit. He said he tried to visit every day and he wanted to perform another exorcism, but Emily refused. Now, this is where we differ from reality. Mm-hmm. In the real case, they performed 67
Yeah.
exorcisms.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And if you were to say that here, that Father Moore performed 67 exorcisms on Emily.
We find the defendant guilty.
Yeah.
He's guilty.
Oh, no, yeah.
He's guilty. Like, it's done. So I understand why they changed that, because they're really trying to make Father Moore a fucking saint.
Yeah.
But he says without her consent, they could not move forward. He said he also encouraged her to eat, but every time she tried, something prevented her from swallowing the food. And while he didn't tell her to stop seeking medical care entirely, he did tell her to stop taking Gambutrol. There's a very interesting moment he pointed out on commentary. As this scene progresses, every angle is pressing in on the subject. And the second he admits that he's told her to stop taking the drug, the camera starts to pull back.
Because the jury was like, I'm in. Fuck.
Yeah.
You lost me.
Because you finally let the air out.
Yeah.
That's
and they can
super
pull back.
interesting.
It's something you wouldn't notice until you're told, but when you notice, you're like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But he says that after the exorcism, Emily confided in him that the pills never worked, only compounded by the fact that she was on Gambutrol during the exorcism, the supposed peak of her symptoms. So again, I'm like, when did she stop taking the drug? After the exorcism?
Yeah.
See, that's what I was fixing to say. I know he just admitted to that, but she didn't stop until then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she died shortly after.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I don't know, man.
the timeline's a little hazy.
Yeah.
It is.
But they both agreed, Emily and Father Moore, that she had to see this through to the end by faith alone. Aaron asks about the dual voices, and Father Moore says that they were coming from Emily at the same time, and he promises that he did not tamper with the tape, which sounds like something someone who tampered with the tape would say.
If you got to promise.
It's an issue.
Yeah.
Of course, Ethan pops in his ass-chewing teeth on cross-examination, attempting to discredit the dual voices and the various languages. Father Moore is like, dude, but there was more than that. There are things that I saw that you can't hear on the tape. Ethan's like, well, I guess we'll just have to take your word for it then.
Cartwright?
Yeah, where is this dude?
Where are you at?
Yeah.
He was, no, you know what happened? They were calling Costanza, and then he didn't show. But of course, after he says the whole, we'll have to take your word for it thing, Aaron objects, and he is promptly admonished.
Well,
At this point, I was like, come on. Because the way that he's acting, you expect him to get in Moore's face and be like, you motherfucker.
yeah.
He needs to chill.
Yeah. I think he was really caught off guard by that tape.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I took A&P 1 and 2, so I'm basically a doctor.
Oh, cool.
And he's referring to vestigial vocal cords. Are false vocal cords.
Yeah, but he's attempting to. Yeah, he's bullshit.
They don't make sound.
He's not a doctor.
I am. Get me on that stand.
There you go. So you're the judge
I'm the judge and the star witness. I like exciting trials.
But yeah, as he was saying that, I was like, I don't think that's accurate at all.
No, it's not.
I also took A&P. We run
Dr.
a practice
Hunter.
together.
I know, yes.
But as it turns out, he says that Emily underwent advanced catechism training, studying Hebrew, Greek, Latin, and possibly even Aramaic, and she studied German in high school, which covers all the languages heard on the tape.
That hurts.
That looks real bad.
Yeah, that hurts.
And she wasn't saying shit that was that complicated. She was like, Ich heiße Emily. Like, my name is Demon? What? So it wasn't too complicated.
I don't know. It didn't seem like she was struggling with any of it.
She wasn't.
Like, it all sounded very fluid.
Well, she's an excellent student.
She's a quick study.
Yeah. But as far as the dual voices are concerned, Ethan asks if Father Moore is aware that all humans have 2 sets of vocal cords and that Tibetan monks even train themselves to activate both sets at the same time, which isn't exactly true.
No.
As we've explained.
Yeah.
But in a not so good look, Father Moore says that he was unaware of all of that, including Emily's language background.
He's like, look, I met the girl that day.
Yeah.
I don't know what elective she took.
I know about demons. I was not her counselor.
Well, that's not fair. He wasn't there when she went to school. He doesn't know.
But Ethan asks if it's possible that in her psychotic state, she activated both sets of vocal cords, which again, no.
You're really leaning on the set of vocal cords that don't perform like true vocal cords. But
keep at it.
But yeah, go hard.
He then tries to dismantle the robed figure that Father Moore keeps seeing, asking where he is, getting all up in his face, asking if he himself looks like the demon ghost. Again, I think he almost called him a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think he did. If I were Aaron, I'd be like, maybe the part about the robed figure, maybe that's our little secret. Maybe only me and you talk about that when we're alone.
That conversation should have been had in the cell.
Yeah.
Stop bringing him up. But the judge is like, she tells him, she's like, you need to calm down.
Whoa.
Ethan finally comes back to himself, saying that he has nothing further. Ray pops up, whispering something to Aaron, and Aaron relays to the judge that Dr. Cartwright must be detained somewhere because he isn't here yet. After a little dispute between her, the judge, and Ethan, the judge adjourns the court so they can marinate on all the shit they witnessed today.
There were a couple things there because Aaron asked if they could wait for Dr. Cartwright, and she's like, you already made me wait once. It's like you're still being petty about those 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even today. So
ego. All ego.
Yeah, calm down. And then Ethan's rebuttal to Cartwright even testifying was that Father Moore already testified about this. That's not how courts work.
Only one person can testify about a thing. That's a new
I was
rule.
like, what are you talking about, dude?
They start strong with their legal arguments and then they just fall apart.
He can't testify because I don't like him.
His tie is blue. I'm like, what? But outside, Aaron confronts Ray about the Cartwright situation, asking him, what do you mean you couldn't find him? Ray says he checked everywhere, but Aaron sends him to the hospital to ask around. I guess they're like, he might have gotten, anything.
Yeah.
Or no, he's also a doctor. So
Yeah.
I was like, he was in an accident, but no, he works there. That is his place of work. But on a walk to clear her head, Aaron runs into Cartwright, who apologizes to her. He says to tell Father Moore he's sorry and that he believes that demons are real and admires Father Moore's courage in standing and speaking against them. He says he knows what they can do. And then fear fills his face as he backs away from Aaron, staring right behind her.
It looked like he was looking at her. I'd be like, am I a demon?
Am I wearing a robe? Aaron turns around to see nothing, but when she turns back to Cartwright, he is struck by a speeding car, killed instantly. This is a lot.
Now, speeding is a stretch.
Yeah,
that car wasn't going that fast.
It was going at a speed. Is what I meant.
I mean, it was not sitting still.
Yes.
I read that originally it was supposed to have been a heart attack, but the studio said that wasn't exciting enough, so they made him get hit by a car in front of Aaron.
I feel like if he had just been hit by a car somewhere else, I wouldn't hate this as much.
I feel like if he had had a heart attack, you can bring in, was it the demons? Did he die of fright? Were the demons like, let me squeeze this motherfucker's heart and you're not going to testify?
It's more ambiguous.
Why do the demons scare me?
I don't know. The demons are like, I'm not going down for this shit. They're fucking Jeff from Book of Shadows. But I think
we're not taking the fall for Emily.
I think that the thing about this is that it's too much for Aaron to see personally.
It's dumb. Yeah. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I don't like this at all.
Couldn't they have just, and if it is the heart attack, then you save the ambiguity of the both sides. Because right now I'm like, oh, a fucking demon killed Dr. Cartwright.
And it's not, if I am so scared that I no-showed
a court hearing
to court, I'm not going to meet with the attorney after and be like, look, I'm sorry, dude, you're never going to see me again.
No.
So the fact that he even met with her was weird. And then
but it seemed like she just stumbled upon him.
That's true. I don't know. I don't like
was he on his way to court and he's like, nope, can't do it.
He was on his way to his heart attack and then he got hit by a car.
Just ridiculous.
I wanted to mention it earlier when she went to talk to him and he was feeding the birds. That scene kind of hurt me a bit because it's very heavy-handed of how important he is, and it almost shows you he's not going to make it already.
It really does.
It projects, he's not going to make it.
Well, they literally...
everything's riding on him.
They paint him as a savior.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, so you can do this for us and that and exonerate him? And you killed Emily? It's like, dude... they really put way too much on him.
It did.
A man's life is on the line.
But not really.
Not really.
It kind of showed this coming.
I think that's fair.
I totally agree. Because it's like, he's literally like the missing piece.
Yeah.
Like, this is all we need and then we're fine. It's not going to happen.
Maybe if you would have toned it down a little bit, how important he was, then it would have been like, okay, you just got cold feet, whatever. But no, it like you said, he's like, I videoed it, everything. I had someone drawing it. It's like there was a stenographer. You know what I mean? It's like
we have a full transcript.
R. Kelly's grandmother in the corner. Like it's a lot.
Yeah.
But back in her office, Erin has a meeting with her friend Johnny Walker Red.
Yeah, understandably.
Gunderson walks in to check on her and asks if she's seen the paper, tossing it onto her desk. The front page article reads, "The Devil and Father Moore. Priest describes encounter with demonic ghosts." See, that's what they're running with.
Yeah.
That's where you fucking goofed.
Yeah.
But Gunderson is pissed that she allowed Father Moore to take the stand, but she says the whole point was to have Cartwright corroborate afterwards. And regardless, his testimony is crucial to his defense. She says that she swore an oath to do what's best for her client, and Gunderson's like, save it, Bruner. Like, he goes in on her. He tells her that she cashed in her conscience for the gig, period. She says that people can change, and Gunderson asks, like James Van Hopper?
Wow, what a dick.
Yeah.
Why are you bringing up old shit?
Very low blow.
I was a shark when I did that. All right, I've changed.
Now I'm a seal.
I do. I'm a seal now. Don't you see I have a locket? Sharks don't wear lockets.
They got their necks are too big.
But I'm sure he was happy when she fucking won that case.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
how are you going to be
Don't
a
be
dick
throwing it in
now?
my
But
face.
now, well, because he's an asshole. But Erin says that the trial isn't over. Nathaniel can still take the stand to corroborate the exorcism, or maybe one of the unnamed sisters. Gunderson says no, and as tears roll down her cheek, he says that she screwed up the case beyond repair. He's not going to replace her, but if she puts Father Moore back on the stand, she's fired.
Do you not care that this dude just died in front of her?
No, he doesn't. No.
He isn't like, my condolences or anything.
No.
Or are you okay?
Yeah.
He's just like, fucking on the stand.
Yeah, this is just really heavy-handedly presents that dilemma.
Yeah.
My career or the truth.
Yeah, the good truth.
Yeah, the good truth.
But she just cries quietly. In the next scene, she visits Father Moore, though, giving him the news about Cartwright. Father Moore crumbles as Erin tells him that they've lost the case without him. He says this isn't true and demands to be put on the stand again. When she says that she can't, he hands her a letter telling her to read it, then decide what she wants to do. He also brings up what she said earlier about being on the right path, which is a little callback that I appreciated.
Yeah.
It is. Why wouldn't he have given her this earlier?
Because they just keep finding evidence.
And what more do you have to say, Father? You said a mouthful today.
Yeah.
What more were there several robed demons coming at? What more do you have to say?
It was a whole fucking coven.
There was 6.
Yeah. There was 6 of them. But he says that he saw her complete non-poker face in court when he mentioned 3 a.m., and he says that it's not going to stop until Emily's story is told.
Did the demon say that?
Yeah.
Like he told, after he nodded to him, he's like, now, by the way,
Listen.
until you get to tell that story.
Right.
Because we're demons who care about the court system until you take the stand.
Yeah. So they're just fucking mobsters then, right?
Guess, yeah.
Yes.
Intimidating witnesses. And, hey, we heard you saw a murder. Maybe you didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't see shit, huh?
Maybe you don't have kneecaps.
But that night, Erin turns the clock on her nightstand around, then sits to read the letter. The envelope is addressed to Father Moore, and as she reads the letter itself, she appears conflicted. The next morning, Erin and Ray walk through a wall of media refusing to give a statement or comment. As she sits in court next to Father Moore, we see she's wearing the ECB locket she found.
Yep.
Very nice. Then this is when I was like, okay, so she wasn't lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless she's always just had that locket. But she looks behind her to see Gunderson staring a hole through her. Erin immediately recalls Father Moore to the stand, and Gunderson's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And just leaves the courtroom, loudly slamming the door.
Yeah, I put not her boss literally fucking walking out.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
I laughed because, I mean, I feel like that's contempt of court, what he just did.
Right.
But at the very least, it's ocean rudeness.
He went to go pack her shit.
He did. He's
Nope.
like, I'm going to get a box.
Yeah.
That's where I got to go. But when asked, Father Moore says that the last time he saw Emily alive was the night before she died. Emily asked to see him in order to give him the letter, which she wrote the morning after the failed exorcism. She says it was important for him to share, and when asked if Emily was a good person, he says that he thinks one day Emily will be recognized as a saint.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
They didn't have to enter the letter into evidence.
Again, I don't know.
Yeah, because she just slipped it to him.
Yeah. Read this.
And shouldn't we have it verified that it was that was written by Emily?
I mean, yeah.
Because Father
That's
Moore
what I
could have
thought
written this
too,
last
yeah.
night in his cell. Like nothing, like what happened to the court system?
It's gone.
But after a fiery objection from Ethan, Erin asks Father Moore why God would allow this to happen to Emily. He says Emily can answer that herself and starts to read her letter. Emily recounts the events from Halloween, saying the demons refused to leave her. We transition to Emily's voice telling the story, saying that she fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up, she heard a voice calling her name, and we see her leaving her house and walking through the fog toward a bent, leafless tree.
Nobody's watching her after that. This is post fucking bananas ass exorcism. Nobody's watching her.
Nope.
Well, they're probably tired too. I mean, shit.
Enough.
And I love this shot of the tree.
Yeah.
It's a great shot.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite shot of the film is probably the demon bowing to Father Moore in the purple light, but this is a
Yeah.
close second for me. But Emily collapses in front of the tree, bruised and beaten. As the camera rises, we see a healthy version of her in a white gown looking down at herself.
There's the white.
Yep. And all the fog.
Oh, yeah.
And all the fog was practical.
Oh, wow.
It was tricks of the light.
Yes, this was actually tricks of the light. They said they had to wear masks while filming.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
But Emily says that she was then visited by the Virgin Mary, who said heaven was not blind to her suffering. Emily asked why this is happening, and Mary apologized and said that the demons were going to stay where they are, but she gives Emily a choice. She can leave her earthly body right now and ascend to heaven, or she could stay in her body, living proof that the world of spirits and demons is in fact real. Emily chooses to stay. We then see her clean, healthy counterpart dragged back down to the ground, crawling backwards and becoming one with her bruised counterpart. She lifts her hands to reveal the wounds of stigmata. Emily's letter ends. In the end, good will triumph over evil. Through my experience, people will know that demons are real. People say that God is dead, but how can they think that if I show them the devil?
Why are you so worried about what everybody else thinks?
Yeah.
It's not worth all that.
She's fresh out of high school. A lot of people, insecurity. But I think that's a fucking brilliant line.
It is.
And
if I show them the devil, yeah for sure.
Father Moore, of course, breaks down, which on commentary they said was a choice of the actors.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it works.
It works very well.
Do you remember that Stigmata episode of Nip Tuck with Sarah Paulson?
Yeah. When she was like, I feel like Jesus. Yeah. How can I forget that shit? That episode was ridiculous. But Father Moore believes her wounds to be stigmata, indicating that she was touched by God. He also says he refused further exorcisms because she had accepted her fate. Aaron then asks if he has anything more to say about Emily, and when he doesn't, the defense rests.
No further questions.
Then, of course, in his closing arguments, Ethan writes off the stigmata as self-inflicted, saying Emily did it to herself on one of the barbed wire fences around the farm, which we see her do in an alternate version of events.
I mean, I'm no fence expert, but that didn't look like a fence hole.
A fence hole?
A fence wound.
Well, barbed wire is pointy.
Yeah, but they don't stick out that much that's going to go all the way through your hand.
It was like through her hand.
Well, if she did it back and forth.
Okay,
She's
that's
thorough.
a lot. She's thorough.
What the fuck?
She's like, this has to look convincing.
I do want to point out that the film opens with a shot of barbed wire with blood dripping from it.
Right.
So I don't know if that's the film saying that she did do it to herself or if it's just trying to be ambiguous.
That's cheeky.
But it intrigued me.
Right.
It is intriguing because this is not an ambiguous film. This is not ambiguous.
They tried.
It's not
or
ambiguous.
so they claim.
They tried
to make us
with
believe
quotes.
in demons.
Yes.
But Ethan repeats his entire argument. Though he considers himself a man of faith, he says Emily suffered from sickness, not demons, driving the point home that medicine would have helped, but Father Moore got in the way and caused her death. In almost a growl, Ethan tells the jury not to believe the story.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're being really aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, that energy, don't tell me what to do. He's innocent.
And you want to know something else, though? Is that whenever he was like, well, am I the ghost demon? I'm like, maybe you are, because the way you're fucking talking, that he got worried. He's like, I'm almost found out.
He's in the pocket of a big demon.
He's like, I let pocket of big demon. But he says that it wasn't the devil who did this to Emily Rose. It was the defendant. Again, great line.
Yeah.
But in her closing argument, in contrast to Ethan's faith, Erin admits that she has her doubts. She says either the spiritual and supernatural exist or they don't. It's all about possibilities rather than facts. She brings up Adani's testimony, saying she can't say whether or not it's true, but what matters is if it's possible. Same goes for the effects of Gambutrol. She can't be sure, but it's possible. She asks if what Emily wrote in her letter is a fact and that she chose to die to open our minds to the spiritual world. Again, she can't say that's a fact, but it's possible. It's what Emily and Father Moore believed, but she asks, is Father Moore guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Did his decisions directly lead to her death? She obviously says no, because that would have ruined her whole case.
Right. She's like, it's a possibility.
And maybe it's possible. But she says that's not a fact. Facts leave no room for possibilities. She says the only fact in this case is that Father Moore loved Emily and did everything he could to help her. She admits that she's defended some bad people in her job, but Father Moore is not one of them. In a very good line, she says, I'm not asking that you believe everything Father Moore believes. I'm simply asking that you believe in Father Moore.
That's good. Her closing argument is much better than asshole McGee's. Like, much better.
He's like, demons, come on.
Come on, you guys.
Like, really? You believe that shit? That was his closing argument. But in the next scene, the jury has reached a verdict, and we follow it as it passes from the foreperson to the judge.
I wish we had been told how long the deliberation took.
Yeah.
Because everyone's in different clothes, so it's not like they came back 15 minutes later or something. But I would have liked to see really how on the fence they were.
Right.
They're like, so we know, right?
That guy's fucking, come on.
Yeah. But the bailiff passes it back to her, and she reads it out loud. In the case of the people versus Father Richard Moore, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of negligent homicide.
Wow.
The news hits Father Moore and Aaron, and the judge moves on to scheduling sentencing. Aaron then says that Father Moore requested immediate sentencing if he were to lose, and the judge is like, yes, I recall that. That's not how it works. First of all, he could request anything. I request to have been found innocent.
I request to go home, please.
It's like, I don't give a shit.
Well, I have seen stuff like that where they're like, just sentence me. I don't need to. If I'm found guilty, just give me whatever you're going to give me. And I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah. And the thing that gets me is that she asked the prosecution, and the prosecution doesn't object to this, so they move on. Don't you think the prosecution would be like, actually, we would like to discuss this?
Yeah.
Instead,
just
Ethan's
do
like,
that
no, we're
whole-
fine.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it.
Like look at each other, like, is this cool for dinner? And they all like, "Meh." Yeah, like that was the reaction.
Mm-hmm. But the judge reminds Father Moore that he's facing up to 10 years for this crime. But the foreperson of the jury interrupts, offering a recommendation for sentencing, time served. The judge looks at Ethan, then accepts the sentence.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it felt like such a psych moment.
Yeah.
It was like, Father Moore, you are guilty of being the best damn priest in town. Like, that's what it felt like.
They fucking high five him. Like,
Get your ass out of here, man.
I'm sorry, no offense to juries, but juries are just 12 people.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like, excuse me, judge. I'll take it from you.
I'll borrow that robe now, thanks. You know what's funny is that if the judge was the demon and she just throws the hood over,
Oh, shit,
that's
dude.
the real twist.
That's the M. Night twist.
Yeah. But she tells Father Moore that he is guilty and he's free to go.
This is so funny, dude.
This is like
Yeah,
so unbelievable. It's like, and then like there's like a groundswell of music, you know? I don't know if that was
then
there.
They carry the priest out on their shoulders.
Father Moore, just chanting his name. It's like
Confetti.
none of
There's
this
a
is
pep rally
realistic.
outside.
I'm not gonna lie, I did like it, but I was like, this is not gonna ever happen.
It's a very heartwarming ending.
Yes, it is.
No,
but-
it is, but that's
Come on.
hilarious.
No, it is. It's a lot.
An interesting thing is that the extras in the jury who didn't speak, I heard on commentary that they did not know how the case would turn out. And whenever they were given the assignment to deliberate, quote unquote, they actually did, and they come up with a hung jury. They were split down the middle.
I feel like that would be more realistic.
Yeah.
You get some religious people in that jury, and I don't think it's a conviction.
I think it's probably a mistrial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I don't see, if you're sent to do your duty, how you don't come to the conclusion that he is guilty of negligent homicide.
As you said, these are 12 regular people.
Fair.
Yeah.
This is not, okay, I'm going to take my job. Like, come on, dude. Do you remember in the Scott Peterson trial when that one lady was like, he reminds me of my ex because my ex was abusive when I was pregnant. Conviction. It's like,
It's
no,
like-
No,
these people
yeah.
are just like us and they're petty like us and they have hang-ups like us.
He reminds me.
That's what
That I know.
that's what happened.
I remember, and he of course was convicted.
And he was convicted.
But that's nuts to me that that's your reasoning. Oh, I wasn't listening.
She shouldn't
he
have
looks
been
like this
allowed to-
asshole. I
No.
know.
Yeah.
No, she lied on her form and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole other. We really do need to do
True
a
crime
true
podcast,
crime
yeah.
show, dude. But that's a whole other story. But I'm saying,
Yeah.
not everybody's going to be like, let me wipe away all my biases
Yeah,
and beliefs
yeah.
and just look at the facts. That's not how humans work.
I hate it here.
That's just not what happens.
But after dismissing the court, Father Moore thanks Aaron and she gives him a hug. But at the sidebar, Gunderson approaches Aaron saying that she shocked them all, like he wasn't just chewing her ass a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Fuck that dude, man.
He's like, I'm playing both sides.
Yeah.
So I always come out on top. But he says that the firm is over the moon and the archdiocese is pleased. She throws his words in his face from earlier, and he admits that he was wrong, but he's willing to make it right. He offers her the full partnership that she was after, but she declines, leaving him alone at the bar.
She's going into a private practice with Wexler McGill. So fuck you.
Yeah, I'd watch that for about 6 seasons, I'd say. But we dip down from a thundering sky to find Aaron and Father Moore at Emily's gravesite. Father Moore says he can't return to his parish. He says once you look into darkness, you carry it with you for the rest of your life. He says that Aaron can relate, but she isn't so sure. They look down to Emily's grave, the epitaph chosen by Father Moore, who says Emily recited it to him the night before she died. As Aaron leaves a white rose on her grave, we see that it reads, "Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling."
That's dark.
I literally wrote bit dark that.
A bit, yeah. Also, you chose the epitaph. Her parents didn't.
Yeah.
Again, like you guys were saying.
Were you her father? Like
Yeah.
her father,
Yeah, I
father?
don't-
Is that the real twist of the film?
It's so weird.
But that night, Erin boxes up all the case files, turns off her lamp, and climbs into bed. She closes her eyes for a moment, but opens them up to turn the clock on her nightstand to face her. The camera presses in as she smiles, closing her eyes and drifting off to sleep. Before the credits roll, we get a few end title cards. They say Emily's grave has become an unofficial shrine, attracting visitors from all over the world. It also states that Father Moore went into seclusion after the trial, refusing to appeal his verdict, saying that this is a matter for God and that earthly courts do not equate to God's judgment. Lastly, a card says Erin Bruner shared her case files with anthropologists and medical researchers whose further research and published work about the life and death of Emily Rose inspired this film. We fade to black, and the credits roll. So, what did you guys think of The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
So watching it again for the show, like I said, I know before I said that when I watched it when it came out, I didn't like the court, whatever, was kind of slow for me or whatever. But I enjoyed this shit a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, this is a good movie. I remember liking it, but watching it now, I wouldn't even mind watching it again anytime soon. To just kind of sit there and, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Watch it without having to stop or whatever. But I thought the movie was really good. I did enjoy it. There are some things that I didn't like, and they're not like to hurt the overall movie, but there are some things that I was like, yeah, you know what I mean?
I really like it. I like the court aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Carpenter's, holy shit. Like every scene she's in is terrifying.
Yes.
There was some court stuff that was a bit hilariously ridiculous. And the whole way that they handled Cartwright really was not good. But
it's almost unnecessary.
It is. Overall, I still like this. I haven't seen it in so long, and I was wondering if it would hold up. And it's not perfect or anything, but I think it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like it's just such an interesting film with very big ideas. I'm unsure how well they portray these ideas in an unbiased way.
Right.
Which is not
well.
at all.
not very well.
But I think that it's kind of a conversation piece because I definitely want to talk more about this at length.
Right.
You know, especially when we bring in the true case of Annalise Michel.
Yeah, and if y'all haven't read about that, that's super interesting. Mm-hmm. The pictures are horrible, and it's a lot.
And honestly, I feel like, because in that case, the priests were found guilty.
Yeah.
But they never served jail time. I think it was just converted to probation or something. But that case was far more egregious than what we saw in this film.
Yeah, it was.
And I think I would have more people agreeing with me if they did the case like verbatim. Because holy shit. But I did want to come in because when listening to the commentary, you see how much of a student of film Derrickson is. He references certain shots and he says that, you know, this was inspired by Kurosawa. This is inspired by Hitchcock or Scorsese even.
Damn.
The court scenes, he said Martin Scorsese.
Huh.
So it's just like very interesting. Oh, and of course, Argento.
Right.
Suspiria.
I would like to rewatch it again through that lens, especially knowing the whole color situation. Mm-hmm. That's a rewatch for me. It
changes how you perceive the scenes. It's so cool. So cool. But I guess that brings us to ratings. I really do enjoy this movie. I feel like I'm a little unsure of the message it's trying to send. You know?
Yeah.
No, that's totally fair.
I mean, on the positive side, like we said, the performances are amazing. Laura Linney doesn't get enough credit for this, or mostly anything.
I love her.
And it's hard because of how much she's overshadowed by Jennifer Carpenter in this film, because Jennifer Carpenter is amazing in this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that the horror scenes of The Exorcism are actually genuinely scary.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are some shots in the Exorcism scene itself that are downright frightening.
Yeah. The
lightning comes to mind. I think that the court scenes are very interesting, even if they're not entirely accurate. I think on the negative side, it would probably be that the court scenes are not entirely accurate. I also feel like the ambiguity should be done better. I mean, they make Ethan so villainous when I think the real villain of this film should be the devil. Or whoever the fucker in the cloak was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest negative for me is the matter of it being important in a lot of cases and a lot of things in life to keep an open mind. But I don't know that this is one of them. But on a scale from 1 to 10, 3 a.m. wake-ups, I'm going to give The Exorcism of Emily Rose 7.5 out of 10 3 a.m. wake-ups. I think that the way that this film is done, it's definitely worth watching. just know that it's very biased. And know that you're going to get some really good horror scenes. And I love a courtroom drama.
Same.
I love a real courtroom as well. So this is like right up our alley.
Yeah.
But I will now open the floor to you.
I did enjoy the movie as well. And you saying that about, like I said, to me, I just know, I was like, man, there's a lot of colors in this fucking movie. But that does give it a rewatchability to go back and see all that and then notice it. I enjoyed this movie for it being different because she's dead. Right. Most Exorcist movies, they're like, oh, we got the demon out. She's safe now.
Yeah.
Here's your baby. You know what I mean? No, this lady's dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not coming back. You know what I mean? And it's different. It's not the whole, like you said, we start with her dead and then we show what happened. We always start with a happy family, then somebody gets possessed and the family's terrorized. Somebody comes and helps them and the demon's gone. That's not what's happening here. The demon won. You know what I mean? It is very heavy-handed. I didn't like the Cartwright thing. It was kind of like, to me, when we seen him in that scene and he was feeding the pigeons, talking to her and all that, I was like, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah, I was like, you pretty much just spelled it out for us that he's way too important. So he's got to go. That did kind of hurt it for me. The headstone thing, you should have just used the whole passage. You didn't need to cut it in half. Because like you said, it sounds kind of, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
dark.
Ooh. But I did enjoy this movie. The courtroom is silly at times. But I feel like if you're just sitting there watching it, you know what I mean, and enjoying it, and you kind of leave out all the, that's not for, you know what I mean? It's good. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 3 a.m. wake-ups, I'm going to give The Exorcism of Emily Rose an 8.
Wow.
I will rewatch this movie, and I agree with you with her doing it, like doing the exorcism scenes and all that. It's very unnerving.
Yes.
And because it's her doing it, you're like, that looks fucking real, but it is.
Yeah.
So you're like, God, oh man, and it did even to me. And I'm sitting there like, God damn, girl, that shit looks terrible.
Yeah. Some of it's like hard to look at.
And that's 15 plus years later.
Yeah.
Man.
No, I really like this movie too. I think it holds up for me. The horror scenes are still very scary. And that's because of Jennifer Carpenter. My one drawback, aside from the nitpicky shit that we said along the way, is I feel like there's a real conversation to be had about religion and mental health and how a lot of mental health issues are explained away as shit like this. And even like Father Moore says at one point, she was going to face this with her faith alone, like, and not her medicine. That's so dangerous. Like, that's such a dangerous mind. I see people doing that with like COVID, like that. It's so scary and such a slippery slope that I wish that the film had leaned into that more and maybe played up that ambiguity as, it could have been, demons, but maybe not make it a made up term of what she was suffering. Like there's actual
conditions.
Yeah.
I see schizophrenia, dismissed a lot as, oh my God, possession or, stuff like that. I that's a real conversation to be had. And maybe that's just not the story they were trying to tell, but that's the story I would have liked to have been told. But so maybe that's not fair of me to be like, well, why didn't y'all talk about this? Because maybe that's just not what they were doing. But I do like this movie. A lot of it is very heavy-handed. A lot of it is pretty damn inaccurate. And the real story was skewed in a way that really absolves this fictional priest of culpability. But it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to do everything with just lighting and shadows was, I'm still not over it.
I can't even believe it.
One might say it's unbelievable. But on a scale from 1 to 10 at 3 a.m. wake-ups, I also gave The Exorcism of Emily Rose 7.5 3 a.m. wake-ups. It's still good, man. Like it's been probably a decade since I watched this.
Yeah.
And It's still good.
Yeah.
I do think that it is important, like you said, especially considering the way that things are going in the world, to really not attempt to equate those things to where they're both equally viable solutions for medical problems.
Yeah.
Because the second he said that, I'm like, they better find this fucker guilty.
Yeah. No, that's so scary. That's so dangerous. All I know is I better not start fucking waking up at 3 a.m. because I'm coming after this movie.
I'm not ready, dude. After this movie, it's like you're going to punch your DVD.
I know this might just be me, but what if the demon's friendly? Like, can I just let him possess me and be like, look, can you give me powers and I'll let you live inside me? I'll feed you, dude. We can have cheeseburgers together and all that, but... Like,
well, we're going to get cheeseburgers after this, but I think you're just hungry.
Well, no, I'm saying, you know what I mean? Why does it got to be a bad thing? What if the demon's like, look, I just wanted to get out of hell. I don't want to go back. The AC's broke down there. Can I hang out with you? Sure. Can I fly? Fuck it. Let's do it. I'm a demon.
Can I fly?
Well, I mean, they have supernatural powers, right? I mean, give me some of that. I'll let you live in me. Let's, we'll watch wrestling together or whatever.
This man does not represent.
No, I represent myself. I'm okay with that.
I wouldn't recommend that in a court of law.
No. The defense rests.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Pod Mortem. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Twitter at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at RealStreeter84. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, in most situations, in a world of black and white, try to keep an open mind to the possibility of gray. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned until after the music. We want to give a very special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Hey!
Thank you.
Special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Melanie Van Houston, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent and Allison O'Morton, Guy54, Lala Thomas, Travis and Nisa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Mandy, Jennifer Perez, Pierre Lombard, Carissa, TJ Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Linda, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Jonathan Booth, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhardt, and Armand Spasto. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We truly appreciate all of you, and we want to let you know that you are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sick.
Case closed.
Until next time.